And I'm back here after a few weeks with Great Ace Attorney. Last 2 weeks, there's always something happens Sundays. You know, just how it is. Also, hey Ramen, hey Sor, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Congrats on your 12th of 12 months of jail time. And congrats on the sizable fish, Ramen. Yeah. Alright, so I'm pretty sure we hit the trial. We did the, we put in the legwork. We found the stuff. We found the clues we could. And yeah.
Fishing!
Now it's time to actually, you know, trial. Also, good luck fishing for yourself, Sora. Now it's when you're going to pick up a garbage can, right? Like nothing. You know, it ain't worth much, but also it's worth things. I forgot I added that one in. Oh man, I will add more fish in, but we still haven't caught all the ones I've put in. So like I will. The time is going to come where I add more fish. But so far we're still catching the ones I added in the initial few batches. So, but if anybody ever has ideas for fish they want added, or you know, fish, can always go and stream ideas. But like I have some more ideas. We have some more art already and more sound effects at the ready. So like I have a bunch I can add in. I just haven't yet. And now I have a better feel for like how points affect stuff, so I should be able to play stuff a little better. When I woke the following morning, Susato-san was already gone. Outside the window, the rain came down in sheets. So began an even longer day than the last, one that I will remember for the rest of my days. I believe this is the final trial of the first game. I could be mistaken. I believe it is that. 17th April, 9:32 a.m., the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Good morning, Gina. I'm determined to prove your innocence today. I'm sure we can do it. He's trying to. Oh, bananas. I should add an egg too, so we can have we do like an egg in these trying times, but not, you know, sound effect command. Fishing. They had a. I was at. So we were at the mall yesterday, and they have a store there, which is. They call it a comic place. It's not really a comic place. It's mostly like random miscellaneous merch. They've got a wall of Funko Pops. They do have some comics and manga, and they've got cards and blind boxes. So they got a bunch of stuff. That's where I got those Monster Hunter blind boxes last time. That's where I got this tiny little mini Lego bonsai tree this time, which I think is kind of cute. I like it a lot. Very tiny, very difficult to put together with big hands. But when we were there yesterday, they had a few really good meme T-shirts, and I almost bought one. It was the Pepe Sylvia scene from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which it sparked me because Would You Like an Egg in These Trying Times is also a very popular meme from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, so I was thinking of that. And they had a different Frank T-shirt, but it wasn't the egg one. It was the one of him pretending to be the art studio owner with like the white hair. Which is good, but if they had had the egg one, I honestly might have bought it. I honestly, we go to that mall like once a month now because it's where round one is. I might get Pepe Sylvia next time. I might. They also had an Evil Dead shirt, which I really liked, and they had two separate Kirby shirts. One with like an old school like pixelated logo, and one that was like a Hawaiian shirt but with Kirby's on it instead of other designs. All of those were pretty good. They also had an art book for Nier that covered Nier, Automata, and Reincarnation, the mobile game. I almost got that too. Maybe next time. They've got a bunch of stuff there I've been looking at. But we go like once a month, so like, whatever. I forgot everyone's voice. The only voice I can't forget is Fonzique's. His is the only one that's like, yeah, no, I know what I did for him. So, where's your friend then? Sorry? You know, they're in the fancy dress. Susato. I don't know why that's so funny to me. Susato, or however you say it, I don't know. Ah, Miss Susato-san had to leave early this morning. She was already gone by the time I woke up. Not gonna lie, that is definitely one of the things that has kept me from going back to Manakamiya 2. I remember none of the voices. 0%. None. Now, I could go to the archive and check. But you know I'm not going to. You know we're just gonna go screw it, whatever. Let's do every game. Yeah, I mean, you're right, but... So... You alright with that, are you? Forget about me if you like. Go and see her off. It's fine. It's not as though Miss Usato and I won't meet again. One day. Even so. But you, Gina, you only get one chance. This trial today is all we have. Good morning, you two! Oh, damn it. Made the wrong prediction. Ah, that's a long cat. Mm-hmm. Southern Norfolk. Yeah, true. Except I can't do a southern accent. Maybe if I did move to Georgia, I'd be better at a southern accent. But I didn't, and I don't want to, and so I'm not. So, you know. How are you feeling, Ginny? Did you manage to sleep? Thank you, kitty. Iris, what are you doing here? What do you mean? When a friend is in need, we show our support. Isn't that right, Wacky? Why did you bring the cat? Alright, so I'm calling it now. I'm calling it now. This cat is going to be pivotal to this case. The linchpin to this case is that cat. That cat? Utterly important. Ah, crap! The entire linchpin of this case is running away! Great way to show your support, kitty. Leave him. Let him have a nose around. I've never heard somebody... I mean, it makes sense, you know, cats sniffing around. I get it. It works. But I've never heard somebody refer to it like that. What am I going to do? Oh, that reminds me. I bought a paper on the way here. Now, would you like the good news or the bad news? Does it matter? What do you say, Ginny? Oh well, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first. Nah, always take the good news first. You might not live to hear the bad. Yes, that question always gives away people's personalities. Let's not go there. Alright then, I'll give you the bad news first. A record amount of rain has fallen this morning, and carriages all over the capital are struggling to move. Huh? The bad news was a weather report? So I hope that Susie made her train to Dover, and that the train isn't delayed on its way to the port. Gosh, yes. Alright then, so what's the good news? Well, the rain is forecasted to subside this afternoon, so even if the train is delayed, it should be able to make it up the time later. Well, that is good news, isn't it? I feel like it's a net neutral. Couldn't give a monkey's, really. Only all good news canceled out the bad. See? He understands. And look, this trial has made the headlines too. Pawnbroker perishes and pick purse plunder. See? Ah, yes. Man, I hate her theme because it has a slight double beep in the left ear every like 2 minutes or so. It's subtle, it's small, it's little. It's definitely her theme because it only shows up when this music is playing. And I hate it. I like the rest of the music. It's fine. It fits her. Hell, let's be honest, even the beep does, but it keeps making me think my headphones are dying. How do you like that? Well, let them say what they want. See if I care. Can't, because you're covering your face. Don't worry, Runo will soon show everyone that this headline is nonsense. I will. There it is, the double beep. And then in tomorrow's papers, the headlines will be... Discharged diver is dauntless do-gooder. Isn't that right, Runo? Oh, yes? Let's hope so. Of course they will. Have absolute faith in me. How was that? I was trying to sound like Susie. Did it work? Did it? It's like she was still here. Today's paper has been entered into the court record. Oh. Didn't expect it, but okay, I guess the rain's gonna play a part. Good luck then, Runo. I'll do what I can. Hmm? Obviously, I don't know the law like Susie does, but still. I've got a gun. I don't know the law like Susie does, so I've augmented it with an RPG. Who needs to know the law when you can blow them up? Oh, it's just taking a sip. Is it just me, or are all her inventions somehow a gun? Like the cat door creator? Gun. The smoke grenade launcher? Gun. This? Gun. The dust shooter for Sholmes so that he could use different powders? Gun. It's weaponry all the way down. I'm not sure that big thing is as comforting as you think it is, to be honest, but I mean, I'm sure she feels comforted having that around. I am positive. Because it's optimal, I suppose. Also, hey Grim, how's it going? Welcome to Paperland in the chat. We have weaponry. Well, she has weaponry. We have her, so we have what? It's fine. We'll put her on her shoulder like Nanamo and Raban, and she'll just start blasting. Thank you, Iris. That's very kind of you. Oh yeah, Iris. Yes, Jenny? Well, I was wondering is all about Sholmes. Did they fix him up alright? Yes, the operation was a great success. She looks thrilled. So, you know, she's American. Ooh. But her release doesn't come around yet. I've asked a friend of mine in Scotland Yard to send a telegram as soon as he wakes up. I am also positive he's gonna bust through those doors at some time during this case, ideally in a hospital gown, and say something that will either immediately save us or immediately make things worse. Potentially both. Potentially both. I'm sure Gregson will let us know the moment there's news. Oh, right. No Susato-san and no Mr. Sholmes. It's all down to me today to prove that Gina is innocent of this crime. Miss Gina Lestrade, counsel for the defense. The trial is about to begin. Please make your way into the courtroom. It's time then. Yes, let's go, Gina. Iris. Lead the way, Runa. Poor Gina. She's trying to put on a brave face, but I can tell she's worried and scared. I have to believe in her from start to finish. It's the weapon that will secure our victory here. Oh, excuse me. If I learned anything from my great friend, it's that... Oh, so the Edgeworth game is out now. So I've been seeing a lot of posts about it the past few days, a lot of memes. Yay. The Phoenix Wright fandom lives. Awesome. Something I didn't know. Do you know what Gumshoe's name is in French? I know, weird question. What do you think Gumshoe's name is in French? It is amazing. It is phenomenal. And it honestly just fits with him anyway. Dick Detective. I love it. I love it a lot. It's great. 17th April, 10 a.m., Old Bailey Courtroom. It's very good, yes. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. This trial shall determine the guilt or innocence of Miss Gina Lestrade. I now call upon the counsel for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. I don't know who the jury is going to be, but I already know I hate them. It doesn't matter who they are, I already know I hate them. Because they will definitely... I love that they replaced the know-nothing judge with the know-nothing jury. The entire jury is the most gullible set of human beings in human history. And even though the judge is here and the judge actually understands law this time around, the jury sure don't, and they're the ones that matter. I like that. It makes it seem like the legal system isn't incompetent, whereas it definitely makes the legal system seem a little bit incompetent in Phoenix Wright, which is fine. I love the hell out of those games. There's nothing wrong with the jury system or the legal system being incompetent, but I like the idea of like, no, the legal system is competent. The judge knows what he's doing. However, the jury of your peers are all dumb as rocks. Absolutely dumb as rocks. I think that's a good way to balance it out, because you have to have somebody stupid and gullible. The Phoenix Wright cases do not work if everybody's thinking clearly and actually analyzes all the stuff in front of them. The games don't work. I understand that. You have to have an idiot. You have to have an idiot in charge of the case. You have to. But, like, yeah, stupid judge hurts a bit, stupid people, I believe. Yeah, I like this way quite a bit better. The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready. Lord Van Zeek, Lord Van Zeeks. My lord. Remind me, how many years ago was it that you withdrew from the public prosecution service? It was some 5 years ago, my lord. Yes, and then 2 months ago you resurfaced somewhat unexpectedly, and here you are again today. Yeah, no. If everyone was smart, the game would either be high level or just bad, or both. Probably both. Like, no. You have to have a stupid person in, or people in charge of the cases. You have to for it to work. But this makes a little more logical sense. As funny as it could be to see a judge that inept, and boy was he. Yeah. True. That's fair. I've heard as well, so. Are there some circumstances of which the court should be aware that have led to this erratic behavior? In what one might describe as your former life 5 years past, you dealt exclusively in matters concerned with the highest echelons of society and government. Really? Yet today you choose to try a simple case of burglary and murder. I confess I find it more than a little befuddling, counsel. Actual legal puzzle solving. Oh, you know who would love that? Mooney. That would be a game made exclusively for Moon Channel. There's one person out there that would be like, yes! Yes! This game was made for me! And the rest of the people would be like, I don't want to play it. There are two types of people I cannot abide. Firstly, those wealthy scoundrels who hide behind a mask of philanthropy to cheat the public at large. She looks so small behind the desk. Holy crap, like I know she's not a tall character. They never portray her as such. Why would she be tall? She looks really small behind the desk though. He means Mr. McGilded, who you defended against the Reaper 2 months ago. Yes, I just about managed to work that out, thank you. Magnus McGilded. If I'd known what a monster he was, I never would have defended him. And secondly, even more loathsome, those wily scoundrels who masquerade as allies only to effect total betrayal in the final hour. In other words, the confidence tricksters from these tiny islands in the Far East then meet beneath. Wow! He really did just say, I deal with people who actually think that they portray goodwill and are actually bastards, and this one Japanese man. I hate the Japanese. I hate the Japanese. Like, I joked about it, but he said it now. He literally just said, yeah, I deal with those cases and anything involving Japanese people because I goddamn hate the Japanese. Like, wow. Like, I was ready to, like, I poked fun at it, but I was just like, yeah, of course, he has to because that's how the game works. He has to be the guy against us. It's fine. You fudge the details because it's a video game, and video games have to work on video game logic. I could joke about it, but like, whatever. No, bro just racist as fuck. He's just super racist. Actually racist, yeah. Well, you have to... Nothing upsets a racist more than being proven wrong. Being proven that, wow, these people that I hate for no reason whatsoever, because I think they are small, stupid, worthless, and beneath me, continue to prove that they're not. Nothing will piss him off more than us winning. And we've won, so like, you know, British people racist in the colonial era? No. I need to rewatch that somehow. I'm still trying to convince Calco and Apple to watch it, but admittedly, setting aside a 3-hour chunk of time does not come up often. And usually if they have a 3-hour chunk of time, it's while I'm streaming. So It's a lot, but I'm hoping at some point to rewatch it. But what? Did he? My reaction exactly. What? Is he really just racist? He means you now, Runa. I understand. I actually managed to work that out too. Thank you, Iris. She's trying her best. Total betrayal? What are you talking about? Once in like 20 years ago, a Japanese man accidentally bumped into him while crossing a street and didn't say a strong enough sorry, and he's kept that hatred and pain inside for this long. It's festered. That torrid look of hatred in Lord Van Zeke's eyes. Was that directed solely at me, or was he talking about all Japanese people? Why not both? An alarmingly scathing explanation, Lord Van Zeke's. Still, the judiciary welcomes the return of the so-called Reaper of the Bailey, feared by all London's malefactors. Your lordship is too kind. You know, I think his animations are as extra as he is racist. Now, jurors, the 6 of you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. Alright. Alright. That's a squad. How does the maid keep making it here? How does she keep showing up? I don't get it. Also, the two on the right are definitely working together to send coded messages back to Russia, right? Like, 1,000,000,000%. The mouse steals the info, relays it to the guy in the hat. The guy in the hat taps the bottom of the desk, letting her know the message to send back to Russia. Former lieutenant, the British Army here. Don't you know? Chaps like me were born ready. Clean crockery, clean cutlery, and a clean conscience. His lordship's motto is very appropriate here, I think. I'm glad I don't have to talk like this for that was really annoying. Really? Everything will be stereoscopic in the future. Absolutely, absolutely everything, and I'm ready for it. I've permanently crossed my own eyes. Is this... Well, it's clearly a bad doctor. Is this the same old man as before, just in a doctor's getup? He looks like the same old dude, but... I don't understand it. I can't have left it in there. It's not possible, but could I have? Woman indispensable in society. Stop. Female-centric future awaits. Stop. Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please. Do you know what? If you want to take a bus to Crystal Tower, it used to be so easy. You just stripped off all of your clothes and then queued for Alliance Raid and then put them back on when you were in. Now it's a bit harder. Now you actually gamble for it. You never really know if we're going to get Crystal Tower or not. Sometimes you get, you know, any of the better Alliance Raids. Yes, I'm calling out you people who only want Crystal Tower and Alliance Raids. You're wrong. If you don't have time for a full Alliance Raid, don't queue for it. Sit down. Something wrong, Runa? Oh, not exactly. It's just... I'm barely sure I recognize these jurors. Almost all of them, in fact. I'm sure... No. Let's just send in a spy to figure out why I can't get the CD the same way anymore. Yes! Really? Funny coincidences like that do happen from time to time, don't they? But it's quite strange. The jurors are chosen at random from London's 6 million inhabitants, you know. Yeah, sure, okay. Random. So I've been led to believe. Something tells me I'm being duped. Excuse me. Okay, they pick randomly from what they've studied to be the the town's most gullible inhabitants. And they randomly pick from those, 8 people. Very well. Now, Lord Van Zieks, the court calls upon the prosecution to introduce the facts of the case. As you wish, my lord. Allow me to begin with a word of warning to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. In short, there has never been a more self-evident case of cold-blooded murder. That's clearly false, but why is that not like a crazy leading statement? Before I introduce the case, let me let you know, I'm super right. You don't even have to think about it. Just don't even think about it. It's so obvious I'm right. So cool. The victim, Mr. Pop Windybank, proprietor of a pawn shop on Baker Street, was shot from behind and died instantly. The prosecution presents this photographic print of the crime scene. He's just stating facts. Yeah, same facts as always. As the court will observe, there is a single bullet wound just below the gentleman's left shoulder. The evidence suggests that the bullet pierced the man's heart, resulting in near instant death. Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner. This report states that the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. And what's that supposed to tell us? It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Someone, like the accused, you might say. Or like Iris. Iris could have done it. She's significantly shorter than every other person in this game so far, really. Oh. Prosecution wishes to present the autopsy report and crime scene photograph as evidence, my lord. Indeed, the court accepts. Hand them to the bailiff, please. The autopsy report has been entered into the court record. Crime scene photograph has been entered into the court record. And now asks the court to turn its attention to this plan of the establishment where the incident occurred. The proprietor was found in the storeroom where he kept articles pawned to him. A windowless room with a single point of entry, a door to the main shop that was found locked. Ooh, 1 second. There. In this sealed chamber, there were only 2 persons present. The victim, Mr. Windybank, and the accused. It may further interest the court to know that when the accused was discovered at the scene, she had in her hand the gun used to fire the fatal bullet. Well, that's that then, isn't it? Nothing more to say. Isn't that grubby little girl a pickpocket anyway? One of those filthy drabs that live in the slums in the East End. Oh well, it was only a matter of time before she got blood on her hands, though. What are those jurors waiting for? The girl's guilty as hell. Can't jump to conclusions here. We mustn't assume her guilt because of what she has to do to survive. Ah, that goblet is not long for this world. My learned Nipponese friend, it is you who mustn't jump to conclusions. Prosecution has barely begun presenting its case. Conveniently, this appalling act of murder did not go unobserved. There were witnesses. Good gracious! After their testimony, this girl's true nature will be exposed. The full pictures, or cold-hearted killer. Here's to establishing the truth. Yeah, you know, you say you want to find the truth, but you can't believe that a man from a different country than you could be smarter than you, so, you know, just saying, maybe you're not as truth-oriented as you say you are. Man, of course. Just assume everything. Yeah, he really hasn't. The court will take the floor plan and firearm into evidence. Hand them to the bailiff, please, Lord Vinzeeks. At once, my lord. Crime scene floor plans been entered into the court record. Windy Bank's revolvers have been entered into the court record. This isn't good. I feel like the mood in here has turned very gloomy all of a sudden, Runo. I think it's because it has. Let us begin. Bring forth the witnesses to the foul murder of Mr. Pop Windybank on 16th April of this year. What? Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. Names Nash Skulkin? Nash Skulkin? Occupation is, Betty. Professional Betty. Name's Ringo Skulkin. Occupation's, same as him. Tobias Gregson, Scotland Yard Inspector. That's right, or what they call the Three Scullivan brothers. What are you looking at me like that for? Don't lump me in with you a lot. God, blimey, that's cold. Don't you know what we're going for? It's our older bruv. Lost contact with him we have. So we're scouring every shady corner of the capital. And then last night we came across you, the very spit of the old bloke. Ain't that right, Ringo? He is, Nash. He is. The very spit of him. So we decided there and then that what was gonna do, we was gonna call you Big Bruv Skulky. Yeah, they are absolutely just goons. Both of them, 100% just professional goons. Couldn't get a guilty verdict when the defendant was actually guilty? Yeah. Ooh. Come on, leave it out, you two. Skulky Scullion? That's before he's run out of chips? He can't run out of chips. He has infinite chips. Well then, Inspector Skulky Gregson. Begging your pardon, my lord, but the name's Tobias. What I would like to know, Inspector, is what you are doing in the witness stand. The Skulking brothers are currently under arrest, my lord, on suspicion of theft. Thieves, are they, these three? No, my lord, begging your pardon, but please don't lump me in with this lot. 2 nights ago, these two brothers illegally entered an establishment with intent to burgle. I do like the phrase intent to burgle, that's a good one. And in the course of their nefarious activities, they became embroiled in a far more sinister crime. By Jove, you mean to say, what an extraordinary coincidence! Indeed, my lord. While attempting to burglarize the pawnbrokery, they witnessed its proprietor's murder. I like the concept that we can't trust that girl. She's a thief and a pickpocket. She's just guilty. It doesn't matter. Oh, but to prove she's guilty, we need to trust these two thieves. These two guys, they're thieves. They admit to being thieves. We know they're thieves. There's no subtlety in their thievery. But we need to trust and believe in them because don't worry about it. He's still so small even with the crate. Order! Order! The various trespasses of these brothers is not the subject of today's proceedings, though they will naturally face trial in the very near future. With your lordship's permission, I'd like to remain in the stand to keep these gents in the straight and narrow. Of course, Inspector. Skeptical as I am about the caliber of these witnesses, I will permit them to take the stand. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you will now testify before the court. Describe the events of the night in question and what exactly you saw. Happy to. Because the Skulkin's never skulking. Get out of it. They really are. Illegal entry. I was walking down Baker Street in the small hours at the gas store was ajar. See? It was like some kind of sign, begging for us to go into it was. Once we got inside, Corp blimey loomy, we heard a gunshot from the back room. We went to see what was what, but the door was unlocked from the inside. We never done nothing, Governor. We never took nothing. We just left after that, nice and quiet. I believe 0% of that. Terrible coincidence, it would seem. At the precise moment these miscreants entered the property, an even more sinister crime was afoot. Witnesses' testimony is consistent with the crime scene in every detail. Very trustworthy. The door providing access to the storeroom from the main shop was indeed locked from the inside, and within, only the victim and the accused were found. I must say, it does appear to be an overwhelmingly simple case. Still, the defense may cross-examine the witnesses now. Of course. Counsel, if you please. Counsel? Yes. What's the matter, Bruno? Sorry, I was just stunned into silence for a minute by the blatant lies being told by that pair in the stand. I know that it's all nonsense because I saw it with my own eyes. I'll just have to expose their testimony for the pack of lies it is. Also, I'm realizing this is just Mario and Luigi. If they turn to a life of crime. Like, right?
Hold it!
The front door of Windy Banks was ajar, you say? What time of night was this? Must have been about 1, right, Ringo? Yeah, I'd say so. Right, Skulky? How would I know? The place would have been shut at 1 in the morning, just like every other shop in town. Wow, place is open at 1 in the morning? Heckin', when we're in the state capital of Connecticut, for Connecticut, the state capital, every place closes by 8 o'clock. Everything. If you want food at 8:05, you're starving. Hard stop. Well, it was pitch black inside, it's true. Ain't that right, Ringo? I'm not so sure, Nash. I seem to remember a little light burning inside. What about you, Sulky? Me old mucker. Leave me alone. There definitely was a small lamp burning inside. That's what alerted us to the situation in the first place. And when these gentlemen ventured into the open establishment, the accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, already had the muzzle of her gun trained on the unfortunate victim. That is pure conjecture. Wow. Perhaps. But it changes nothing. I mean... Yes, I just said a thing that I can't prove and made up on the spot to make my story sound more believable than yours. And when you said, "Nuh-uh, you can't prove that," I went, whatever. That'll show 'em. These brothers inadvertently wandered into the middle of a cold-blooded murder, simply because they found the door of the victim's establishment open and ventured inside. I mean, we obviously know it's not a cold-blooded murder. Even if she did pull the trigger, which, I mean, there's so much probably not involved here, but, like, even if we go with that somehow, like, man, we know it's not cold-blooded murder. It's just every... It's fine. Just this guy. Alright, that's what happened. I mean, we know that's not what happened, but I don't know if we have any direct evidence for that. We'll have to go through the evidence at some point too, but I'm going to go through this one loop first, and then we'll look at the evidence.
Hold it!
That's generally how I go. Because we're going to go through the loop anyway, because there's a lot of good dialogue here and I don't want to miss it. What are you trying to suggest? That you had to go in? Well, God moves in mysterious ways, they say, don't they, Ringo? They do, Nash. They do. Must have been some sort of providence, I reckon. God's will often presents itself as the whim of thieves, does it? We're no whim, I'm dead sure of that. It weren't, Nash, it weren't. Like we said at the time. You don't just find doors open in the middle of the night like that. Nah, there's no two ways about it. It was a sign that our long-lost brother was inside. They're not very good liars, are they? Well, you can't deny it. It led us to a bloke what looked just like our bro. I said, cut it out. God, I hate being on the stand with these guys. They're the worst. Hey, Kai, how's it going? Welcome to Viper Landing Chat. Thank you for the raid. How are you doing tonight? How goes things in your streams? Hopefully going well. Hopefully you had a good weekend. We ace attorneying, or great ace attorneying. Ye old objectioning. That's what we're doing. Oh, I don't know if I put ye old objection in the go live notification. No, I just did regular objection. Boo, shame on 45 minutes ago me. Oh well. Objection! I know, I've done ye old objection like every time, and this time I just did objection. Shame. How could I indeed? Ships are getting a chomping today. Infinite ships. I want infinite ships. It's not fair. Ah, yes.
Hold it!
I mean, these two just look so innocent and trustworthy. A gunshot, you say? Just the one? Are you sure about that? Weapons of fraud. The objection is going well. This should be the final case of the first game. The Great Ace Collection is both games. I think this is the final case of the first one, and we're right at the start of the trial. These are like first witnesses. Get a sub money back? Nah, if you fell for the fraud, that's on you. Yep, just the one, Governor. I can swear to that. It was, Nash, it was. Ain't that right, bro? The firearm used belonged to the victim himself. Yes, Mr. Windybank always used to leave his gun lying around on the counter, and threatened to shoot himself with it on a minutely basis. It's shocking that he ended up dead by a gunshot of his own gun. Crazy. Who could have seen that coming? That's true, you control the prisons. I mean, you know, you control the prisons, but all of the prison funding funnels up to me. Right, I remember. When we examined it, we found the revolver was completely out of rounds. Makes sense. Mr. Windybank always used to say he only ever kept a single bullet loaded. That's true. I remember him saying that as well. Yeah, because he only wanted to kill himself. Falling for fraud, probably. So we can say with considerable certainty that only a single round was discharged from the firearm used as the murder weapon. Yes, my lord, we can. And I should remind the court that the firearm in question was discovered in the hand of the accused. Wonderful. Alright, don't think we have anything for that one either.
Hold it!
Do you mean the door between the main shop and the storeroom? If my learned friend is having difficulty grasping the situation of the building he's been in multiple times, perhaps a drawing would help. Yeah, we've seen the map. We've been there. We know how the place works. You're not special, Van Zeeks. Excluding the shop's entrance from the street, there's only one other door. That of the storeroom. Of course, there was only a little oil lamp burning. Not much to see by. And the door was hidden behind a curtain and all. That's right. When we arrived, the door was mostly obscured by the curtain. Tell me, why exactly did you try to open that door? Yeah. Any normal petty thief would run at the sound of a gunshot, I should think. Your turn to rabbit, Ringo. Well, Nash, yeah. I suppose you'd have to say we ain't normal, eh? Broadly speaking. Oh! What? Where do you find these names? Where? How? Well, I'm glad you got trash for that. I like that the was the sound effect that tipped me off, not the music. I was like, wait, what's going on over there? Yeah, take that, Branch. Viper is a chicken, son. I can't believe you do this. I'm not a chicken, though. Clearly. Why would a chicken steal your fish and give you a branch? That's not a chickeny thing to do. That's an industrious thing to do. Yeah, no, that one time you picked a random name and they're like, what's going on over here? I randomly get a DM on Twitter. It's like, hey, so I see I've been banned in your channel and I'm just wondering why, and it's just somebody with the username Time, and it's like, oh, oops. Broadly speaking, humans respond in one of two ways on hearing a gunshot or scream. The timid flee, gripped by fear, while the courageous investigate to see if they might help. Bullshit! They wanted to steal more. No, that was a hypothetical. It would be funny if it happened, not it happened. Because we have banned Time. We have absolutely banned Time. It would be very funny if that happened. I don't think it will ever. I don't think it ever will, but it would be very funny. These gentlemen are of the latter inclination, but learned Nipponese friend, it would seem, is of the former. What? Alright, somehow I just proved that I was a coward that night. He wasn't, though. Alright, whatever. Like, we know this, but obviously. Thank you, counsels. So, I believe we all understand that the door was locked and could not be opened. Proceed, witnesses.
Hold it!
Yeah. You didn't do or take anything. Is that your story? Well, it was bedlam as soon as, weren't it? It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me dukes out, me lucky lockets. So, with no time to take your hands out of your pockets, you just left. Nice and quietly, you say. That's right, Governor. Nothing we eat more than violence. Peace-loving nibblers we are. Not burglars. We are, Nash, we are. Never even pulled me dukes out to me lucky lockets. So, you'd clearly like us to believe. Come again? As you fled from the pawnbrokers that night, did you not run into anyone else? And did you not fire a gun at that person? Saints alive, they fired a gun, you say? Blimey, Governor. No, they really are just Wario and Waluigi, aren't they? Like, it's not Mario and Luigi. It's definitely Wario and Waluigi. Also, just that. Just that. You ain't telling us it was you in the doorway. It was. Why the bleeding Nora? Didn't you mention that before? You were armed with a gun, and as you fled the scene, you fired that gun at London's greatest detective, Herlock Sholmes. They shot the great Mr. Sholmes. I did hear that, actually. There was a rumor you'd been rushed to hospital. The great Sholmes, it's beyond the pale. On the night in question, this pair were arrested by the police within minutes of the discovery of the crime scene. The suspicious countenance rapidly gave them away. And when searched, a firearm was indeed found in their possession. Furthermore, the barrel shows signs of a shot having been fired from it. Yeah, no kidding. Wow, it's like he's actually holding the gun. This is how I hold guns. Prosecution invites his lordship to examine the firearm recovered from these brothers. Yes, indeed. Remnants of powder around the muzzle, as you say, counsel. Court will hold this weapon as evidence. The Skulkin brothers' gun has been entered into the court record. Now, my learned Nipponese friend. Yes? Here's to your successfully presenting the evidence. But yes, there are the telltale signs of spent powder on this gun, and a single bullet missing from the cylinder. But the prosecution demands evidence that it was fired at the scene of the crime under scrutiny in this trial.
Objection!
Well, I don't need evidence, because I was there!
Objection!
However, the rest of us in this courtroom were not. If the defense fails to provide evidence in support of its rash claim, we shall have no choice but to toast it to your incompetence and move on. Evidence that these two fired the gun before they left Windybanks that night. The court demands that all claims are affirmed with clear proof. What evidence shows that these witnesses unloaded a firearm in the pawnbroker shop? Oh. Alright, well I guess now we're looking through the evidence we got. Cool, okay. Yeah, definitely not that one. I am the other side of the station. Okay, not that one. Not that one, that was blood from before. Not that. Doubt it's this. Pawnbroker perishes and pick purse plunder. How awful. Virginia, I mean. Tomorrow's headline will be Sarah's Divers Dauntless Do-Gooder, right? Yes, something like that, if possible. I'd like to go even bigger. Bigger? How? Proud pickpocket protects planet post-trial, perhaps. It's bigger. Protects planet? Oh, I can't wait for tomorrow now. It's going to be so great. It's a sensational story lower down on the front page as well. Look, Ministry Mole. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of They were leaking secrets. They're right there. For a 10-year-old, Iris certainly has her finger on the pulse of world news. It's about secret communications between Great Britain and its allies. Apparently, they're being intercepted by hostile nations. Communications are being intercepted, but how would somebody be doing that? That's the question, isn't it? Come up with 3 different possible methods so far. Are you looking for a new career, Bruno? No, of course not. I wonder, perhaps this is what Lord Strongheart was talking about yesterday. Yes, it could be. And it could explain why he has Gregsy running from pillar to post at the moment. Details of today's paper have been updated. Probably not helpful for this line of questioning, however. Alright, not that. I doubt it's this one. None of this evidence supports that. Shows that these witnesses unloaded a firearm in the pawnbroker's shop. Oh, we should check the gun. So, there's ammunition still loaded in 5 of this revolver's 6 cylinders. Yes, which tells us that only a single shot has been fired from it. Exactly. The bullet that hit Hurley, in fact, isn't it? Yes, it happened almost as soon as we walked in through Windy Bank's door. I'll make those brothers pay. So I guess it's just the bullets in the chamber for this. We gotta check this one out too, but... This is Mr. Windybank's gun. The cylinder is completely empty. Mr. Windybank always used to keep this gun on hand in the shop counter. Yes, but only ever with a single bullet loaded, I understand. That's right. They keep all the pawned articles that were in his care safe. But his one bullet was fired that night and the poor man lost his life. Was he protecting his shop, I wonder? Trying to keep the articles safe? Yeah. A Hound of the Baskervilles. That's right, I used Daddy's notes to write it. I think it's a great story. I don't know why Hurley's forbidden me to publish it. Now it's strange, isn't it? Perhaps it's a problem with the title? Perhaps Mr. Sholmes is a family friend of somebody who has that name or something. Well, it doesn't have quite the same ring to it, but I could change it to the Hound of the Naruhodos. Fairly sure that Mr. Sholmes is a friend of somebody who has that name, too. Only fairly sure. Can never really be positive. There's really nothing else on this one to examine. It's that one, right? It's gotta be that one? It's gotta be that. It's the only thing that shows that a bullet was fired in there.
Take that!
It's gotta be. The evidence! It's in this portfolio! What? What on earth have you there, Counsel? During the course of our investigations, we discovered a number of bloodstains. Not trusting the police to do their job they're trained to do. How arrogantly beneath of you. What? Ah, yes. You don't trust the police. You must be foreign. What? What? Well, anyway. I'm gonna just brush aside that racist remark. We analyzed all the blood samples we found and recorded the results in this portfolio. Do you claim to have the evidence the court is demanding therein? Just knows what Yakuza games are like. Yes, my lord. But just because there's always corrupt police officers doesn't mean it's our fault for not trusting police officers. No more dallying then, Counsel. Present the pertinent evidence at once. What do you have in your portfolio that proves these witnesses unloaded a firearm at the scene? Yeah, that's the one.
Take that!
What is that? Explain. It's a photographic print taken at Windybank's pawnbrokery on the day of the incident. The scene of the crime, is it? Is that a bullet hole? And if my eyes do not deceive me, it appears the bullet is still lodged there. Yes, as your lordship noticed. The bullet pierced Mr. Windybank's calendar. The date shown being the 16th of April, the very day of the pawnbroker's death. The incident occurred at 1 hour after midnight. but this indicates that a separate shot had been fired sometime after the calendar had been set to the 16th. That's right, and while it isn't irrefutable, the defense believes this is credible evidence that the witnesses did fire a round from their gun in the pawnbrokers that night. Order! How does the prosecution stand, Lord Van Zieks? Straight as a board, and as if I had a large stick inserted into my rectum. Oh, you mean what is my position on this topic? That is the direction my learned friend wishes to take. The prosecution has no objection. What? But you'll forgive me for flinging my hollowed chalice aside in disgust at the repugnancy it exposes. Yes, on the night in question, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery illegally. Like the bold baddies they claim to be, opened fire on the new arrivals before fleeing back into the streets. Take it easy there, Governor. You're gonna land us in soup. We had a deal. You weren't gonna get into them details. Tell him, Sulky. Set the bloke straight. I have nothing to add. So he knew, did he? Van Zieks knew their testimony would almost certainly expose the extent of their crimes. It would seem now that I owe my learned Nipponese friend a world of gratitude. What do you mean? What I mean is that you have helpfully confirmed an important fact. To what fact do you refer, Lord Van Zieks? As has been established, at the point of their arrest, a single shot had been fired from the brothers' gun. However, that shot found its target in Mr. Sholmes. Then clearly, these witnesses cannot be accused of the fatal shooting of the proprietor and victim. In other words, these two men had no material connection to the murder of Mr. Windybank at all. So that's it. That was so inept. Imagine having a secret handshake where everything is just missed connections until you finally just... Like, I don't know if they're utterly inept or if they planned actually the greatest secret handshake of all time. Like, I don't know. It really could be either. There we go. That's it. We didn't have nothing to do with it. We didn't, Nash. We didn't. That's what I reckon. Your crimes include unlawful entry, intent to steal, perjury, and, let us not forget, attempted murder. Quite a catalog, eh, fellas? Duh. We're in for it now, bro. Now then, let us take a moment to consider the aforementioned great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It would seem the man patronized the pawnbrokers in question somewhat regularly. Where's he going with this? Mr. Sholmes appears to take pleasure in tinkering with eccentric machinery. Eccentric? Says who? Not me. Don't give me that look. He installed a pair of machines like this one in the victim's shop. Oh, it's one of Hurley's red-handed recorders. I mean, what is a camera besides a light gun that receives reflected bullets? It's still a gun. Excuse me, sorry. What is that console? It has the appearance of a photographic contraption. As your lordship has surmised, it is indeed a camera attached to a small timing device. Every half an hour, it automatically photographs the interior of the establishment. The idea being that if a thief were to break into the shop, he would be caught red-handed. Prosecution has obtained the photographs taken by the device on the night in question. As the court will observe, copious identical prints are produced in a quite desultory fashion. Rather prodigal, I feel. In fact, there are 2 such devices in the victim's shop, my lord. If I may refer to the court to the plan of the premises. Their respective positions are here and here. Say these cameras produce a print every half hour. I'm afraid I fail to see. That would help if the anticipated thief conducted his activities in one of the many 30-minute intervals. One can only pray that the would-be criminal lingers, my lord. On the night in question, the witnesses currently in the stand were not caught on camera. Yeah, that's a bit of friar talk, eh, bro? Lady Luck loves a skulking. Witnesses, at what time did you trespassing begin? Yeah, must have been just after 1. Right, bro? Must have been, Nash. Must have been. Yeah, just gone 1. In each case, minutes before these brothers entered the establishment. What scene might we expect to see within the shop? Let us examine the evidence. Maybe not super helpful to our case. Maybe not super helpful to our... Not ideal. Good lord, it's the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. Crap. As the court can clearly see, the accused is pictured, gun in hand, facing the victim over the shop counter, no doubt coercing the proprietor to open the door to his storeroom. Quite! One can only too easily imagine the events that unfolded. The court will take this photographic print as evidence. If you please, counsel. I like how one photograph, one can only imagine what could have happened after here. We go, no, we were there, I saw this, and they go, well, hold on a second. You need hard evidence, not one can only imagine, given what I've said, what could have happened afterwards. No, that's wrong. The photograph of Gina has been entered into court record. I don't believe it. Ginny. In short, the accused is the only person who could possibly have killed Mr. Windybank. And he's dead. Honestly, if you wanted to kill Naruhodo, I say, my lord. If you wanted to kill Naruhodo, you put a thumbtack on that wall behind him. That's clearly not. I wonder if I might put in a word at this point. Go ahead, Mr. Foreman. Took a Bailey bullet in the knee in the Battle of Maiwind, 1880, don't you know? Decorated for it and all that, but forced to retire from service, sadly. Yeah, he used to be in the army, then he took a bullet to the knee. Of course, a medal can never outshine the exploits of chaps like us on the battlefield. Yes, Mr. Foreman, and what exactly is your point? Carried on the battle after retirement, you see. The battle of daily life, if you like. And here I am now, leading the small squadron, 6 men, all good and true. Excuse me. Yeah, we'll all go down together, you mark my words. One for all, and all for one. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached agreement, have they? Is that what we are to understand? Well, Mr. Foreman, is that correct? In a manner of speaking, yes. That is the Garrett Squadron's position, sir. What? No, it's too soon to make a judgment here. Status report for the court, man. On the double. His lordship insists on promptitude at all times, and that goes for making decisions, too. I think you'll find the truth is as clear as day now. I could reach out and touch it. I wouldn't have left it in there. It just wouldn't. In all honesty, can't actually remember. Situation clear. Stop. No room for doubt. Stop. Truth now undeniable. Stop. I am very sorry for brothers. They are unlucky. Very well. I now call upon each member of the jury to state his or her leaning in this matter. Announce your considered verdicts to the court.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Somebody accidentally misaligns those, and they all just hit the judge in the face one after another. Just he gets juggled back there. It does indeed appear that the jury is unanimous in its leaning already. That photograph must be the definitive evidence that Gregson mentioned. But Jenny didn't shoot him. No, of course not. Whatever. My lord, the defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination. Very well. The court grants permission. So, you refuse to admit defeat again. How unsurprising. It's literally my job, dude. Just like it's your job to try to prove them guilty, it's my job to try to prove them innocent. Why is it a slander on my character that I'm trying to do my job competently? We shall proceed immediately with the summation examination. Mr. Foreman, are all members of the jury ready? Absolutely, sir. Always ready for action, my chaps. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty. The jurors' contentions. All the evidence clearly points the finger of guilt at this young pickpocketeer. As a housemaid, I should like to see all filthy eyesores promptly and rigorously eliminated. I think you'll find that if you look at that photograph in stereo, the truth will just pop out. I have left it in there. I should think there'll be repercussions by now. Somebody would have said something. I'd be fired and lose my job. Somebody would be like, "You bastard! You killed Kenny." Mind made up. Stop. Global radio transmissions. A verdict to follow. Stop. In Motherland, we say never judge by clothes, judge by head. I am convinced brothers are innocent. The circumstances of the crime and the evidence do indeed implicate the defendant rather comprehensively. The storeroom, locked from the inside, in which the victim and the accused were discovered alone. In the accused's hand, the fatal revolver, the firing of which was heard by these witnesses. Not to mention this print. Take it from a chap who's seen action on the battlefield. That young girl's on the verge of pulling the belly trigger. Even though they were found inside the room. Thanks a lot, Mr. Sholmes. Oh dear, are these cameras were supposed to help, not hinder? I'm afraid I think you have an uphill struggle ahead of you. But Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windybank. Which means there's more to this situation that we've yet to see. Agreed. Those were inside thoughts. Alright. You have the floor, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination. Defense's rebuttal. Oop.
Hold it!
You're Mr. Natsume is the landlord. Mr. Garib, aren't you? You really must stop meeting like this. Ah, you're that lawyer chap. Well, there's a turn up for the books. Yes, rather turbulent time we've had back then. Some extraordinary events took place at your house, that's for sure. Luckily, Mr. Sholmes and I were able to get to the bottom of it all. I think we did rather a lot for you, didn't we? I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be suggesting that therefore you should change your leaning to not guilty or anything. Can't be denied, I suppose. The course of the Garrett house was the talk of the town after that business, the curse. The lodgers moved out and I couldn't get a Bailey soul to take up the tenants. Oh. Maybe you and your wife shouldn't have a fight so violent that it killed someone. I don't think we're to blame. Kind of feel like that's on you, sir? I haven't had the heart to break the news to Joni yet. Bad enough that the old girl's clapped up. Yes, can't be denied. You did do rather a lot. But not for us, that's for dashed certain. Suppose not. Of course. There could be no suggestion of that being the reason I'm leaning towards guilty here, obviously. Obviously. But honestly, I really wish you'd pay more attention to the trial, unless to juror number 2.
Hold it!
Polishing the bench, I see. Again. The maid's work is never done. Not a blemish must remain. What exactly do you mean by filthy eyesores? On the way to market for his lordship, I have to pass through the East End. The place is full of beggars, pick purses, and crossmen, the scum of the earth. A little harsh, perhaps. Let me be plain. If it were up to me, all those back slums would be made spick and span or eradicated. At least we have people like the great detective working to achieve these important goals. You're referencing to Mr. Herlock Sholmes. That's right, I have to keep abreast of his exploits by reading Rant's magazine in between my duties. He does wonders cleaning up London streets. In my opinion, he should be declared an honorary maid of the capital. Mr. Sholmes? A maid? Sure art of that exists. Positive, in fact. There's just no way it doesn't. It's really quite unforgivable. Gutter scum having the audacity to shoot our very greatest detective. That's 2 people on the stand that are not paying attention to this case. Minor detail. There's the 2 brothers in the stand who shot Mr. Sholmes, not the defendant. A minor detail indeed. They're all gutter scum as far as I'm concerned. Wow. Well, we got a racist on the stand and a classist in the jury. Cool. Yep, it definitely exists. That's pretty good, actually, all things considered. That's pretty good. Very nice. Well, just might be an idea to get our facts straight, anyway. Yes, alright. I shall amend my statement. Brothers that scum of the earth, they should swing for shooting a good detective. Okay.
Hold it!
What do you mean, look at the photograph in stereo? Sorry, what? Don't you know? If you look at the photograph in print normally, it looks as though the pickpocket girl is about to shoot the victim, obviously.
Objection!
There's no indication that the defendant ever fired the gun. All I'm saying is that if you look at the same print in stereo, it could reveal all sorts of new information. Any chance? Are you a fan of stereoscopes? Ooh, how did you know? Call it a lucky guess. It never gets old seeing the 2 prints merge into one before your eyes. It's extraordinary. It's captivating. It's the height of modernity. Of course. Oh yes, I think you'll find that the stereoscope is here to stay. He doesn't know how right he is. And by that I mean utterly wrong. Giving us new perspectives we could only dream of before. It's the greatest invention the world has ever seen. If only you could give me a new perspective in this case, I might agree with you. No, it's not. Specifically, the stereoscopes kind of require you to like, cross your eyes to a degree. VR doesn't. VR is just, I mean, it's using a similar principle, but you view it in a very different way, so I want to say it's different. But yeah, you know, dude's got a colonial era VR headset. I mean, I suppose, depending on how fast he changes those frames, I suppose he could have a, like, 4 frames per minute speed, give or take. I've had games run slower than that. There we go. We heard his.
Hold it!
What exactly have you been muttering about all this time, sir? You keep talking about having left something somewhere, or something like that.
So sorry. As you can probably tell, I'm a surgeon.
A surgeon? That totally passed me by.
Of course, people conducting surgery in this country aren't considered to be doctors. Even though me and my kind are the forefront of medical science, the real brains in the field.
So, what is it that you think you left behind?
Oh, well, that's a little embarrassing, to be honest. You see, I was operating on someone yesterday. Same thing went through the abdomen. When I finished up the procedure, I couldn't find my scalpel anywhere.
Oh, that's such the worst thing. Also, hello, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. How's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. It seems you have bounced back from being shot. I'm so glad. Last I heard, you were still comatose and hadn't awoken, but you've made it into the chat. That is wonderful news. Truly, truly fantastic. We played Smash at lower frame rates. Boy, have we. Man. I loved those Smash nights. I hated that netcode. And I'm not a netcode guy. Like, when we're playing, like, Grand Blue versus, like, when we're playing any of those types of games, like, I honestly can't feel the difference between the netcode of Grand Blue and then the newer Grand Blue that had rollback. I couldn't feel it. Plenty of people can. Cool. I can't. Boy, did we all feel Smash. What? Did he? Surely not.
Exactly. Surely not, you say to yourself, don't you? Worrying, isn't it? That's what's been troubling me this whole time. I don't really have left my scalpel inside the fellow's belly.
Yeah, also, of the things you could leave inside somebody, short of, I don't know, a turd, that's probably the worst. Because, like, you know, anything getting left inside somebody after surgery, gonna be bad. Gonna be bad, 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 bad. But a scalpel is gonna find its way out. And it ain't gonna be good. At all. Isn't that bad? That's true. Yeah, I agree. The average Smash experience was fine. But when it got bad, it didn't go like, oh, that was unfortunate. It went, oh, I want to never play this game again. Ever. That was awful.
No, of course I couldn't. So, there you have it. Like I said, a little embarrassing, really.
That's one way of putting it. The other is manslaughter.
That's exactly my concern. The thing is, this case appears to be all but sewn up. I need to focus on trying to remember exactly what I've sewn up elsewhere. No, I'm sure I made sure everything was back as it should be. Well, sure as I can be without being sure.
I'm sure you need to be more sure. I believe it too.
Hold it!
Sorry, radio transmission? What do you mean? Are you from the Far East? Stop. Yes, from the Empire of Japan. All communications with Far East nations used to take place by mail. Royal Mail streamers take more than a month to complete the journey. Ah, but now we have the electric telegrams. We can send messages using electric signals. Thousands of miles of cable have been laid along the ocean beds, connecting the entire world. Thousands of miles of cables on the ocean bed? Makes my head hurt just thinking about it. You're well informed, young lady. The cables will soon become a thing of the past. Stop. Then, just when I was starting to catch up. Radio transmission is the future. Stop. Messages carried over airwaves to four corners of the globe. Stop. Thermic roaring. Stop. Atmosphere electric. Stop. Right. Try not to wear out your fingers. Error wireless telegraphy. Stop. Driving technological revolution. Stop. And people say inventions like the stereoscope are the height of technology. What other piffle? I can't understand it. I really can't. They're just silly toys. Hello?
Excuse me.
Juror number 3. Sorry to interrupt when you're obviously fuming, but... What? Do you perhaps have something to say about juror number 5's last remark? As if I couldn't guess. Oh, you bet I do. Say that again. Go on. I dare you. Goodness, are you talking to me? Think you just might be, yes. You think stereoscopes are just toys, do you, huh? Absolutely, I mean, really. A machine to view photographs in 3 dimensions. Why on earth would you not just use your eyes to look at the world around you? It's all 3-dimensional. What a great way to appease the man. No, I'm sorry, stereoscopes are of no practical use at all. You just don't know. Pardon? I think you'll find that viewing a photograph through a stereoscope will unlock all sorts of possibilities. Obviously going to have to demonstrate. What sort of possibilities? Well, take a crime scene for example. If you had a pair of photographs from a crime scene that you could view through a stereoscope, I don't know, 2 pictures of the same scene viewed from slightly offset angles, but taken at the exact same time. Unfortunately, we definitely don't have anything like that available to us. It could reveal hidden clues you'd never even noticed before. What? Have you got any, Runa? Any prints we could look at with a stereoscope? I mean, those got put into evidence, right? Problem is we only have a 1. Still gonna go with the photo, but... How about this print here? Should do the trick, I think.
Take that!
Alright then, juror number 3. Are you saying you can do this with any 2 suitable photographic prints? Of course I can. Very well then. I'd like you to demonstrate. I'd be delighted to. Just give me one more print and I'll amaze you all. We don't have the other print though. Well, I don't have the other one.
Take that!
Don't do that, it's fine. Wait, sorry? What do you mean, one more print? Oh dear, don't you have these in the Far East? Don't you know how a stereoscope works? Bruno. What? I need 2 photographs for a stereoscope, remember? You know, one for the left eye, one for the right. Oh yes, I remember now. But the print we have from the pawnbroker is just a normal photograph. Oh no, I think you'll find that the clue is in the name. It's a stereoscope, not a monoscope. You always need 2 prints. Thanks for the friendly explanation. Well, if we obtain another print at some point later in the trial, we can always show it to this young man then. Ha! I think you'll find that no or all expression is really starting to annoy me. Let's get things back on track, shall we, Consul? All we need is another shot from a slightly different location. We could see the scene in 3 dimensions. I think we finished that.
Hold it!
Please tell me you're not villain Bolshevik. The Russian revolutionary? Revolutionary? Da, I believe there is such a rumor. It's just a rumor. As you see, I have unfortunate appearance. I look like a vicious criminal. Your words and not mine. Just wanted to point that out. People call me revolutionary, murderer, autocrat. And which gives first? Boots, gloves, fit, sorry. Good day, I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take a bus to Crystal Tower, please. Right, that didn't sound staged at all. You'll forgive me for having my doubts. To be treated like a vicious criminal all the time, it is very painful. People do not realize. So I have much sympathies for these brothers. People say they are criminals only because of how they look. No, people say they're criminals because they brag about being criminals. Skulkin brothers. Also, does anyone on this jury actually understand who is on trial here? Have any one of you paid any attention to this entire trial? The answer is no. None of them have, obviously. They're all fools. They know nothing. They act like silly clowns. To a T, all of them. Alright, hold on. Maybe they went inside pawnbroker's shop. But they have done nothing wrong. That is all what I want to say. Skulkin Pose did nothing wrong that night. Alright. Well, first of all, that's one that's a little misunderstanding I need to clear up straight away. Tell me something, Iris. What is it, Runa? The jurors are chosen at random from the inhabitants of London town, aren't they? Yes, it's amazing, isn't it? In that case, how is it that there's a Russian tourist sitting among them who looks for all the world like a revolutionary? I wish I knew. If I can't change the minds of more than half of these 6 jurors, the trial will be over. Well, you know that Ginny would never shoot anyone. Yes, so now we need to find contradictions in what these jurors are saying and pit them against each other. I must really get to whatever lengths I have to convince them of Gina's innocence. I only really see one. It's gotta be him.
Objection!
These 2 statements clearly contradict each other. Good lord! Counsel, explain yourself. Oh my statement contradictory. Contradict. Juror number 6, you've got the wrong end of the stick. I do not have stick. I have mouse. He's right. As juror number 2 said earlier, when the Skulkin brothers fled the scene and the night of the in question, they fired a shot from their revolver. Yes, they shot poor Mr. Sholmes in the abdomen, I understand. Surely you're not going to tell the court now that you didn't hear. Abdomen. Sir? Sorry, my English is still learning. You are telling the court you didn't hear? Forgive me, I did not hear. Here is word. Abdomen. Part of person's body containing stomach and other vital organs. If this is what you mean, you should say in plain English. I am Russian, not native speaker. You thought it was a good idea to let this man be on the jury again? Squeak. So, you are telling me these brothers who look like criminals were lying? They said before, we never done nothing, but truth is they shot detective. Duh, that is double negative. Yes, that's exactly right. Not the mouse. Lying is wrong, especially when lie is said by a person who looks like criminal. Coming from you, that seems surprisingly prejudiced. This means, when they said we never took nothing, maybe it was also a big fat lie. This is true. Well, according to the police report, no stolen goods were found, so... Actually, I should be able to now. Nope. Okay. Let me take a little bit off. I lowered the noise gate, but I kept noise suppression on. So, still doesn't... I mean, I can make a pickup on the mic. Here we go. This is the asthma experience you all signed up for, right? Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you. Poor mouse. No, I trust no one now. It's not the mouse's fault, though, sir. I must see with own eyes. I must investigate the crime scene myself. I'm afraid that won't be possible. Yes, it is, Runo. Easily. Sorry. With the prints from Hurley's red-handed recorder. Ah. You compare the print that pictures Ginny and the next print from a half an hour later. You'll be able to see straight away if anything was taken or not. Hooey, Mr. Prosecutor. Tut, tut. Calling on the prosecution in the middle of a summation examination of all times. I was busy trying to get a nap. How dare you bother me? This is the one part of the trial where I don't have to worry. The print showing the accused threatening the victim after she broke into the shop is this one. Following this, the victim and the accused moved into the storeroom. Meanwhile, the Skulkin brothers entered the shop and summarily heard the fatal gunshot ring out. Sadly, none of these events were captured on film. This is the print produced by the camera half an hour later, after the brothers' flight. So this was taken after Hurley was shot then. As far as I can tell, nothing has been taken. It does seem to be the case. Can't notice anything that's obviously missing in the second print. So, the brothers who look like criminals told only one lie. They shot a man, but they stole nothing. It would seem so, yes. Good. No, not good. You were right. I did not understand the situation. Now I know brothers have lied. I think it is very important to continue a trial. Aha. Good. Yay, well done, Bruno. The balance is shifting. Well, it's a start, I suppose. There must be more in what these jurors are saying that I can use to expose the truth. And if I can do that, we just might turn the situation to our favor still. Thank you, Consul. Continue with the summation examination. And kindly hand that new photographic print to the bailiff to be filed as evidence. Hey, we've got a new print. Post-shooting photographs match the court record. Another print in the court record. I wonder if we can make use of that. Yes, I wonder indeed.
Hold it!
Can't really show up new clues though. Don't know unless you try. How about this print here? Should do the trick, I think.
Take that!
Alright then, juror number 3. Are you saying you can do this with any 2 suitable photographic prints? Of course I can. Very well then, I'd like you to demonstrate. I'd be delighted to. Just give me one more print and I'll amaze you all. Okay.
Take that!
Alright, these 2 prints were both taken with the same camera in Windy Banks on the night in question. English tonight. Yes, I see. Tell me, Mr. Lawyer, do you know how stereographic images work? Do you understand the principle? Well, I think so. I did have a lesson only yesterday. The left and right eye images need to be the same, only with a slight shift in the positions of some objects. Then, when your brain merges the 2 images together inside your head, it notices the shift as if it were depth. Yes, exactly. It's that small shift between certain objects in the 2 pictures that's really important. So, what happens if you use 2 photographs that are exactly the same then? No, obviously that wouldn't work at all. Not the same scene 3-dimensionally anyway. Oh! Of course, now I see. Ah, I think the young girl has discovered the secret. I have. Can you uncross your eyes before you tell me? Have another look at these 2 pictures from Hurley's camera, Bruno. Go on. Alright, let's see. Can you see that there's a really obvious difference between them? I mean, I can without crossing my eyes. It's the lamp, but just in case it's something else. I don't know if there's a good, distance for this. Maybe my eyes just don't cross enough. I used to be good at magic eyes, but I haven't really tried one in a while. Hold on, maybe the version on OBS works me better. I'll just cross my eyes right up close to the camera. Maybe. Yeah, that one actually works pretty well. A little better.
変態は黙っていろ。
Yeah, for sure the lamp, the 2 characters. Yeah, no, that actually looks a lot better. Cool. It is still the lamp, though. Of course there is. There are 2 people in the first and no people in the second. Oh my god. You're right. Well, yes, you can see that straight away. But now, try looking at the pictures in 3 dimensions! Alright, I'll give it a go. So, to start with, you have to cross your eyes and then try to make the 2 pictures overlap exactly. Let's see if by crossing my eyes I can make the quill pens from each picture overlap in the middle. Wait. Well, did you manage to see it properly, Bruno? I wonder what happens if you just can't see it. What do they do? Also, hey bots, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. How goes things? What's going on with these 2 pictures? Some of the things on the counter sort of jump out at you. Everyone's cross-eyed. Yes, that's it, you see! That's the other amazing power of the stereoscopes. Other amazing power? Is someone gonna explain this black magic, eh? Why the deuce do some of the things on the counter seem to jump out at you like that, huh? think you'll find that if you consider the basic principle of the stereoscope, you'll answer your own question. Basic principles of the stereoscope. As I said before, if you try to look at two identical pictures using a stereoscope, it won't work at all. It's the slight shift in the positions of certain objects that lets you see pictures three-dimensionally. In other words, even though at first glance it seems the objects on the counter haven't moved at all between the two pictures, this shows that actually there must have been a slight shift in their position. Yes, there must have been. We just decided to put upgrade materials in a new weapon type on just have a DLC. Ooh, okay. Now studied in the school of the hands between. Very nice. Clearly the weapon I'm going to have to end up using. Now hold fire there, sir. Got a reasonable grasp on this whole cross-eyed business now, I'd say. But why the devil does the shift between the two prints exist in the first place? Also, Potts, you missed it. Van Zeeks admitted that he's only here going against us in court because he just hates Japanese people. He just said it. He just said it. No faffing about, no beating around the bush. No, he's just like, yo, dog, hate them Japanese. So I'm back in the courtroom. Well, what's the answer, fellow? Come on, you're the cross-eyed master. What? Me? I haven't the first idea. Yeah. You know, Bruno, it's quite simple. It is? Just think it through step by step. First photograph was taken at 1 a.m. Then, 30 minutes later, the second photograph was taken. But the position of some items on the counter appears to have shifted slightly since in the interim. So that means that sometime in the half-hour interval, someone must have tampered with the things on the counter. Zookers! Someone tampered! New information. Stop. Not mentioned in testimony so far. Stop. Yes. We've had to go around in circles a little here, it seems. But I'm starting to see what I should be aiming at in this summation examination now. Ladies and gentlemen, the question now is clear. We know the items on the countertop were moved. But by whom? Are you suggesting you might know? I have never known less in my entire life. Of course! I can tell you right now who's responsible for the almost imperceptible shift in the items on the counter. Ugh. It's got to be those two when they went around and through the door, right? Right? Oh, also, Potts, our witnesses in this case are definitely Wario and Waluigi. Like, definitely Wario and Waluigi. I mean, I'm gonna get this wrong and lose stuff, but Dragon Sons to burn. Oh, cool. Yeah, good reason.
Take that!
Quite clearly, it was the work of the crap. I'm afraid you've digressed there, Counsel. Oh, damn it. It should now be clear, even to you, who was responsible for the impeachable shift in the direction of this trial towards the absurd. Let me guess. Me. Shift aside, my Nipponese friend, and let the real lawyers do the talking. Really felt that one. Alright. Bad things are happening. It's fine. At least when you're saved, stuff happens. If you think about it, it has to have been someone who was in Windy Banks when everything was going on, doesn't it? Well, yes, that's true. So, that narrows it down quite a lot, I think. I'll have another think. I know somebody must have touched the things on Mr. Windybank's counter, so who was it? Who else was there at the time? He, hold on. What was the new quote number? Damn it! I didn't note. Oh, we have a quote for that now. Hold on. Oh, I left it on the other monitor anyway. I can't check the thing. Oh well. Yeah. Nope. Nope. Was it 38? It was 38. I thought since it didn't work, that it just meant that was wrong, not it was on cooldown. Yes, the extraness of his animations is directly proportional to how racist he is. See, I was thinking it was these two, like, bumping it when they went around. But if that's not it, it could be Herlock. And it could be those guys if they had time to do anything in there. I'm gonna say it's those guys.
Take that!
Screw those guys. It was the witnesses currently in the stand, the Skulkin brothers. Wait. This does not agree with what brothers said in testimony before. They said they did not even have time to pull dukes from Lukey lockets. My phrasebook says dukes is meaning hands, and Lukey lockets is meaning pockets. But is this another lie? Is this what you are saying? The poor mouse. So as I did, Van Zeke's is a new favorite race. I mean, both of them don't hide the fact. I'm not saying being racist is good, but at least they admit it. And the first step to getting better is admitting you have a problem. Though I don't think either of them views it as a problem at all, which is probably why they admit it. You know. Yes, I'm afraid so.
Now hold on there a minute. You can't be sure of that.
I quite agree. The accused is a common pick purse after all. It's perfectly possible that she went through the things in the desk to see what she might steal. I think that's unlikely. And why exactly? As you can see from this photograph. Look at this photograph. Every time I do the evidence mounts, I got nothing. As you can see from this photographic print, the defendant was pointing a gun at the victim. It would seem, as my learned friend indicated, that she was coercing Mr. Windybank to open the storeroom door. In other words, Miss Lestrade's interest lay within the storeroom, not in the main shop. They're a maid, so of course. Giving her no reason to touch anything on the counter. All of which points to one thing. The Skulkin brothers have omitted key facts in their testimony. But the accused is a pick purse, common gutter trash. Why look any further for the wrongdoer here? Because the Skulkin brothers are thieves, madam. No better, in fact worse than a pick purse. If we're going to be classist, let's bring it all the way down. I believe that these brothers were looking for something in the victim's counter that night. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you would condemn the defendant on the grounds that she's a pickpocket. Would it not at least be right and proper to thoroughly scrutinize testimony given against her by two thieves?
Well said. I, for one, would like to hear more from that shady pair.
He's gotta keep his hands clean, boss. He's a surgeon and he's already scrubbed up. Oh, Pots, hold on. I took one other video. The duo on the stand, the Wario and Waluigi, have a oh, I took a few, didn't I? They have a special handshake where they miss every bit of it but the end. And I love it. I thought these were 15-second clips. They're 30. so give it a second. It's fine. It's gotta be the joke. It's the first time he's, like, we know he's a surgeon, for sure. But, like, that's gotta be why you headbutted it. They only stick the landing. That's it. They only stick the landing. Oh. You all see now? I think you'll find stereoscopes aren't playthings. You've seen their extraordinary potential firsthand. It singes the photograph on his stereoscope as it passes by. Wholeheartedly agree, stop. Must purchase after trial, stop. We'll return home via Regent Street, stop. Panic, 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 panic. Calmly hit button. But uncoordinated as fuck, yes. I'm pretty sure. They shot Sholmes, though. So they did shoot someone in the back. Well, it seems this trial is yet to run its course. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury have declared their inclinations via the mighty scales of justice. I hereby call the summation examination to conclusion, with the balance altered in the defendant's favor. 2 lean to guilty, 4 lean to not guilty. Accordingly, the jury is without consensus, and I order this trial to continue. Yay, well done. Oh, by the way, what? You should hold on to this, Reno. You should know, you never know when it might come in useful. Twice in one trial would be unusual, surely, but alright. Yeah, right? Stereoscope is entered into the court record. Lord Van Zeeks, you will instruct the witnesses that the court demands additional testimony from them. Sholmes is down. They've removed the bullet from him, but he's still in a coma. However, against all odds, Sholmes has actually graced us with their presence tonight, so they're clearly recovering pretty decently. They're watching the stream from their hospital bed, but you know they're not up yet. I'm sure it won't spoil the bouquet to do so, my lord. Yeah, fairly unexpected. Slightly. Won myself another chance to probe that pair about their activities that night at least. I won't stop probing them until I've proven that Gina is innocent. Perhaps. Maybe they just blew through, went hey and left. I don't know. That would be very Sholmes-like. Very Sholmes-ish. Alright, it's definitely too early to stop now. I don't know if we'll hit another logical ending point, but it's too early for this to be our ending point. So, we're gonna keep going. If, like, while it's suboptimal, if we have to end mid-parts, we will. It's fine. I'm stuck here, Piper. I don't know. I could leave when I could make this the ending point. I could just leave. I could leave the stream on and just go. Put up a BRB message. Leave for like an hour. Who would stop me? I'm not gonna. But who would stop me? No one. No one at all. Order, please. Let us resume proceedings. Witnesses, you will now retake the stand. Just backdash, yeah. Ban you? You can't. If you could have, you would have long ago. Presume you heard the defense counsel's summation examination. Oh, yeah, Governor. I did, Gov. I did. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. Or, blimey. This is going to be hard work. Earlier in this trial, you gave the following testimony about your actions after we entered Windybanks. After you entered. However, that was a lie. He does, yes. But for sure, I've considered them Wario and Waluigi. Even though they're colored Mario and Luigi. You brothers. Gore! Blimey. On the night in question, you rifled through the items on the victim's counter. We never did nothing of the sort. How'd you figure that out? They are kind of great, though, in how just they're so truthful and honest and not thieves. And they didn't shoot anyone, and they've never lied, and yeah. You now give formal testimony once again. You'll tell the court precisely what happened on the night in question. And this time you'll tell the truth. I'm sure you'll believe them. Each lie that passes your lips serves to increase the severity of your punishment. That might actually help convince them a little bit. It also might not, but it might. And that, gentleman, may deal a crushing blow to your chances of ever seeing the light of day again. A thought worth pondering, perhaps. Cinnamorga, we hear ya! We'll blab, we'll squeak, we'll peach. Witness testimony. Illegal entry, the whole truth. Alright, we did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling for nothing. It was when we heard the gunshot, see. Made us both jump, and all that stuff went flying. Blimey, I didn't half get me a fright. We was thinking the shooter had come to the door to get us next. We stuck everything back where we found it and scrapered straight into him in the blacks. We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, see? We never even had a chance, did we? Yes, all of that. So you admit the defense's accusation. You did indeed ransack Mr. Windybank's countertop on the night in question. Not ransack, Governor, no! That's right, Nash, that's right. It's more like we tidied up, yeah. Sorry. By their own admission, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery under dubious circumstances. However, they panicked and fled on hearing the gunshot, having first made good their mess. The way you say it, we hardly sound like roughs at all. We don't, Nash, we don't. Can't you make us sound a bit more cutthroat? Are you mad that you don't sound enough like thieves who have already definitely murdered a guy? Oh, sure, yeah, okay. Can't just be coincidence that these men showed up at Windybanks that night. There's more to their testimony that meets the eye. I'm sure of it. Yeah, I don't believe a single thing they're saying. At all. If that's the case, then why didn't you testify to that effect in the first place? Well, you know, we ain't exactly squeaky clean, are we? We ain't, Nash, we ain't. If we admitted to something like that, people would think we was up to no good. You were! Well said, Ringo Meal Chum. We'd only land ourselves in even more trouble. And in fact now, as a result of lying in your previous testimony, that's exactly what you've done. Landed yourselves in even more trouble. That's rotten luck. Says the rotten apple eater. Witnesses, explain your actions to the court. Why did you ransack the victim's counter? We never ransacked nothing. Right, Nash, right. More like we tidied the place up. I can't wait for him to do that pose and just bash his head against the desk in frustration. Sorry.
Hold it!
So what you're saying is, I need to put the cap back on this bottle before you hit the bottom button to go next. The sound of the gunshot shocked you so much you knocked all those things off the counter. Well, it shocked one of us that much, yeah. This bag of nerves need to learn to keep his shirt on. Look, it was loud, alright? Blimey, me dead granny would have woken up at that bang. Big brother here screamed like a bloomin' baby and fell over on the counter. He knocked over a load of books, a candlestick, and some skull whatnot. What got tangled in some marionette? What knocked over a picture frame? What knocked them scales to the floor? Really mastered working quietly then. What a racket. My granny would have been scared back into her grave at a clatter like that. So in short, the gunshot took you by surprise. And then some. I mean, it was quiet as a mouse in there all of a sudden. Bam! Hey, look, it's the emote. It's such a good animation.
Excuse me.
Inspector Gregson, do you have something to add? Like I keep saying, I don't appreciate being lumped in with these scoundrels. No, something to add about their testimony. You seemed to react just now at what Mr. Skulkin was said. Did it make you think of something? It's probably nothing, of course. I wouldn't even bother to mention it, only, well, fact is, cases don't get solved if you ignore the little details. How about you just tell us what's on your mind? As you know, we brought these fellas into the yard for questioning last night. The statement they gave then told a slightly different story to what they're saying now. I love that his cheeks have jiggle physics. Did it? You claimed you heard the victim shout something out there before the gunshot. Might have, Gov. Might have. Does ring a bell now you mention it. Granted, it's only a minor detail, but still. I can't help feeling like perhaps you've been a bit sloppy with your testimony here, eh, fellas? If I discover the witness's testimony has been any more sloppy than it has hitherto proven to be, I shall be forced to bring the very harshest punishment to bear against them. Easy, easy. We'll get it right this time. That's it, yep, it's all coming back to me now. Then speak. Supplement your testimony with whatever details have miraculously returned to your questionable minds, sirs. Sorry, here, right you are, Gov. Just before the gunshot, we heard a voice yelling out, "Give me that gun."
Hold it!
So in fact, you heard the voice and the gunshot almost simultaneously. We did, Gov. We did. Although, suppose if you're being honest, we heard a kind of wavering voice before the yell and all. If you don't want to get shot, give me that gun! Bam! Kind of thing. A career in acting tragically missed. Where were the voices coming from? Could you tell? Of course we could. From the other side of that door, behind the counter it was. The storeroom, where the victim was found dead. The voice you heard, it was that of the victim, Mr. Windybank. On me granny's life, of course it was. On his granny's life, of course it was. So, that would mean that you both knew Mr. Windybank and the sound of his voice. Ugh! So that would mean what? What, Nash? What? Any ideas? Yes, Counsel. Indeed it would. Nah. We don't know. We didn't know the geezer. How am I supposed to deny it when that bloke in the fancy cobbler's given us the evil eye? If you value your lives, you will ensure your testimony is accurate and true. On me granny's life, it is. On his granny's life, it must be. Good job, his granny's dead. To summarize that, immediately after hearing the voice of the victim, you then hear the gunshot, casting you to stumble and upset the items on the counter, scattering them over the shop floor. You make it sound like we're clumsy. Don't forget, we tied it up after like good little boys. Anyway, the way I see it.
Hold it!
You're saying that Mr. Windybank had a gun in his hands. That's also new testimony. Oh yeah, bet that was a sight, eh? Them two waving them guns at each other must have got pretty heated. I mean, just before he shot it out, we heard the geezer say, "If you don't want to get shot." Didn't really sound like he meant it, mind. More of an empty threat, you could say. Mr. Windybank was known to keep a revolver in his shop counter at all times. People say that to protect the articles in his keeping, he'd readily put a bullet in somebody's head if required. That someone being himself, of course. Good grief! Extraordinary devotion indeed, if alarmingly misguided. Well, he certainly sounded like he was ready to pull the trigger on that other night. Only the person was gonna shoot, beat him to it. Cooked his goose proper. Bet he wished he squeezed the trigger instead of wasting time shouting, "Give me that gun." It was directly after these words that you heard the gunshot? It was more or less at the same time, Gov.
Give me that gun! Bam!
Kind of thing. Yes, career in acting, very tragically missed. It never stops being good. Then we heard the sound of someone hitting the deck. Where everything went dead quiet. After that, we done a slapdash job tidying the place up. God, that's really interesting stuff they added. I don't know if we have evidence. We must have evidence for it. So we'll say. So, you didn't try to open the storeroom door then? Not on your life. It went deathly quiet after that. It did. Put the wind right up me. The wind did what to the where now? But anyway, the door was locked, weren't it? No way that was opening. Yes, of course, it was locked from the inside, or so we've been led to believe. It was, Gov, it was, from the inside. Right, so we had no way of knowing what was going on in there, did we? Unless there was some other way to get a view of the inside of the storeroom. Like, through the keyhole, or a spy hole, perhaps? Don't ring no bells, don't light no lights. We had to cut and run, because before we noticed anything like that. We're still cutting our teeth on this game, see? But one day, we'll really cut the mustard. Ooh, these are some high-quality thieves who've definitely burgled lots of stuff all the time. But also who apparently just started with murder. So that's good. They suck at being thieves, but they're good at shooting people. Yay. Great. Cool. Please, cut it out. But as we know, behind that door was the victim's lifeless body, with the accused not 2 feet away. Yes, unfortunately. Gina was in there unconscious with the gun in her hand. To confirm, would it be correct to say that neither of you set foot inside the storeroom? See, that I believe. I believe they looked into it. I believe that they probably... Oh, I don't know. That's right, Gov. That's right. Good enough, even if you wanted to. You definitely wanted to. I think I have a piece of evidence, hopefully, we'll say. I mean, we definitely will. Yes, whereupon you fired a shot from your own gun at Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Oh, yeah, we was a bit hasty there. We was, Nash, we was. Truth be told, I was already shaking like a leaf when you lot turned up. You're shaking like a leaf, don't put a loaded gun in your hand. Good advice, miss. Good advice. Truth be told, my mind went totally blank. Before your mind goes totally blank, make sure you don't have a loaded gun in your hand. Mental note made, miss. Good, call him out. I mean, she's definitely mad because they shot her friend, but you know. After that, we legged it down the street, but apparently we looked dodgy to the coppers or something, so they clapped the darbies on us like winking. And after you'd been handcuffed, the police found this revolver in your possession, correct? Well, yes. But listen, that proves it, doesn't it, eh?
Hold it!
And why should we believe that? What? Well, 'cause it's true, isn't it? The place was totally empty when we went in. That time, the victim was already in the storeroom, having been forced open the door by the accused who had a gun in his hand. In other words, on the night in question, these two witnesses never even laid eyes on the proprietor of the pawnbroker in Mr. Windybank. Correct? You got it, mister. Down to a T. So the Skulkin brothers never actually encountered Mr. Windybank. Is that really true, I wonder? That's it? That's the full extent of their testimony? What is it, Runo? You look very fierce. I could pour you some herbal tea if you're tired. Oh, thank you, but I'm fine. Being such a logical thinker, you'll probably laugh, but I feel as though these brothers are still hiding something. Something important. It's nothing more than a feeling, though. No proof to support it. Well, feelings can be very logical at times. Sorry? People's expressions, the movement of their eyes, the words they choose, the copious amount of sweat puddling under them. You can take all that in, and your brain will quietly analyze it to come up with a feeling, like you described. You've concluded that there's something suspicious about this testimony without knowing why, that's all. I think you should trust your instincts. Iris, thank you. Sometimes I think if she's 10 years old, I must be 5. Good way of putting it. Okay. Save because I'm going to probably make mistakes, but... Let's look over our stuff again. You have to pop your 2 prints in here to start with, you see. And then, when you look through the eyepieces, you can see the image in 3 dimensions. The important thing is to get right is the position of the 2 prints. I don't know who came up with the idea of a stereoscope. It was really quite fascinating. Okay, so nothing else there, just stereoscope. Presumably meaning we'll probably have other pictures. You can also really easily tell it was shifted. Oops, just by going back and forth between the 2 photos. You can very clearly see the shift. Alright. I don't know if there's going to be more to these besides stuff was shifted. I think the fact that there was a bullet wound in the back. I think that's where it goes. If he had a gun and he was facing the girl, how did he get shot in the back? Like, this is clearly some sort of contradiction, but I don't know if it's the contradiction to progress the story right now. Let's just consider the implications. No. Very wrong. Okay. Really? I really thought it was the getting shot in the back part. I doubt it, but I'm gonna try the picture of him shot in the back too.
Objection!
So you're saying On the night, really? Okay. I'm upset that the other picture didn't work. Well, not the other picture. I'm upset that the autopsy report didn't work because both came to the same conclusion on the same point. I shouldn't have lost any reputation for that other one. I think that should have worked because both show that he was shot in the back. One visually, one via words. It's fine. We're not locked out or anything. We'll be okay. But I'm just saying, I had it right, I think. Now, the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windybank, was wielding a gun. Is that correct? That's it, Gov. You got the picture? He has, Nash. He has. No question. And yet, photographic evidence obtained immediately after the incident clearly shows, I would argue, this shows less than the autopsy report. Like, it shows him on his back, but you can't really tell which way the bullet went in or out from the picture. Kinda, I guess. You can kind of see it going. That Mr. Windybank was not holding a firearm. Oh. I made the wrong point. Okay, cool. I made the wrong point. I get why the photograph was the one to do. Noted. Still think the being shot in the back bit matters. I don't think I was wrong, per se, but I see why I lost the reputation. I understand. That Mr. Windybank was not holding a firearm of any description. You what? Gordon Bennett, that ain't right!
Objection!
I love that he gets a different font for his objection. There can be no question that the victim's revolver was used in the incident. I would remind the court that Mr. Windybank's gun was found at the scene. Not only was it identified as the murder weapon, but it was found in the accused's hand. Their pose. Yeah, that Maltoad who used the victim's own gun to finish him off. Give me that gun. Bam. Kind of thing.
Hold it!
Stay exactly where you are. Right there. Eh? If the crime had taken place as you so colorfully described it in your testimony, it would give rise to an undeniable and significant inconsistency in the final moments you just acted out. Goodness, are you sure, Consul? You intrigue me, my learned friend, but let's see some evidence to support your claim. Where is the proof that demonstrates this inconsistency in the witness's portrayal of the victim's final moments? Okay, so I was literally just one step ahead.
Take that!
Okay. According to their testimony, the witnesses claim to have heard a shout of "Give me that gun," followed by the gunshot. Indeed, with the two events happening almost simultaneously, or so we've been led to believe. Yes, that's right. Now, if that testimony is true, it would mean that at the moment of death, the victim and his attacker would have been facing each other. However, in the autopsy report, it clearly states... Well, fine. Didn't drop any papers. It's fine. Don't worry about it. No papers have ever been dropped, here or otherwise. That the victim died instantly after being shot from behind. So, as I stated before, there is hiccups. An undeniable inconsistency in your testimony, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. Nya! Yeah. Why did the tall one nya? But it's the God's honest truth. It is, Nash, it is. When he was shot that night, the shopkeeper had a gun in his hand, and we saw it with our own bleeding eyes. Did I hear you right just now? You actually saw Mr. Windybank holding a gun. Something like that might have slipped out. Ladies and gentlemen, you have all just heard the admission by these two witnesses that on the night in question, they actually saw, with their own eyes, the victim wielding a gun, which can only mean that despite their testimony to the contrary, the Skulkin brothers must have encountered the victim in person. Nash, Yeah, Order! Witnesses, explain yourselves at once. Well, the thing is, we're supposed to, I would argue that's his most intimidating animation. It's simple, but like, It would seem that my previous warning fell on deaf ears. It made it quite clear that false witness would be the death of you. Am I to understand that you replaced the untruths of your original testimony with renewed lies? Ever so sorry, Governor. Truth is, see, Cut it out, Nash. Cut it out. We blab now, you know what it'll do to us. Hey, what are they talking about? Let me make your position. Oh, sorry, wrong. Did I miss a noise? Let me make your position here perfectly clear. You will talk. There is no other option available to you. Bro, come on, the game's up. But you'll have our guts for garters. In case it hasn't quite sunk in yet, no matter how hard you try to hide it, the truth will come out. On the night in question, it is now apparent that you brothers met face to face with the victim. I demand that you testify again to explain the precise circumstances under which this meeting took place. Well... Do we have to? On pain of death. I suggest you make yourselves fully aware that this is your very last chance to tell the truth. He just casually walks up behind them and just drop. Continues on to the detective. Drop. Just because he's up there, and you don't break stride once you're going. Counter with the victim. Alright, so we just got inside the gap, and you just sighed of relief when the geezer showed his mug. Give me that gun, he bellowed, and then he flew at us like he was possessed. Thought we'd had it. For an old geezer, the bloke was strong as an ox. He chucked me over the counter. I pulled my gun on him, and then he legged it through the door to the back room. We never had nothing to do with killing him. That's all what happened, I swear. Still very different testimony, but like... So you're now telling us that moments before the victim was killed, in the storeroom, you in fact encountered him in the main part of the shop. Oh, well, yeah, sorry. Well, we find ourselves at an interesting juncture. This change matters considerably. But honest, Governor, this time, Nash, this time, we ain't got nothing more to hide. Very well. Counsel for the defense, you may proceed with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. This is it. The moment I've been waiting for. Cross-examination. Their faces are great. Like, they are just so overacting, crazy, like, parodies of thieves. It's good. When you say geezer, I presume you mean the victim and proprietor of the shop, Mr. Windybank. Who else? Sorry, I mean, that's right. We was keeping a close eye on the entrance to the gap, obviously. We never thought no one was going to come out of the back room like that. The back room being the pawnbroker's storeroom? Yeah, that must be where he popped up from. Only place he could have been. So it would seem the victim... Sorry. So it would seem the victim was already in the storeroom. His brothers entered the premises. Which means Jimmy must have been in there at that point as well. That doesn't make sense, does it? Gina had threatened Mr. Windybank into the storeroom with her at gunpoint. Then why would he have emerged from the same room all alone when the brothers arrived? Oh, I don't know. Did you see the accused at that time? What, that mall totter? Couldn't tell you. No way, Copper. We had bigger fish to fry then. I mean, the old geezer just lost it.
Hold it!
You mentioned that Mr. Windybank shouted these words in your previous testimony too. However, you claimed that you heard him yelling them on the other side of the storeroom door. Oh, yeah, did we? But the truth is, he was shouting those words at you, wasn't he? Well, yeah. Was the victim Mr. Windybank wielding a gun at the time? Was he ever? Blimey Loomy, a great ugly barrel of lead pointed straight at my frontispiece. Frontspiece. Those are words. So what you're saying is, you definitely saw Mr. Windybank with the gun at that time, is that right? It is, Gov, it is. Spot on. Then all of a sudden, he came at us, he did. It was Bedlam. I didn't know who was going for who. Clearly all going for each other. Like Nash said, we thought we'd had it. I mean...
Hold it!
Yes, I noted that you mentioned the count in your previous testimony, too. Well, yeah, of course we did. You knocked over a load of books, a candlestick, and some skull whatnot. That got tangled in some marionette. What knocked over a picture frame? What knocked over them scales on the floor? So in fact, it wasn't the sound of the gunshot that shocked you and made you knock these things off the counter. Well, Big Bro here went flying over the counter like a gunshot, I can tell you. The old geezer pinned him. He did, Nash, he did. If you hadn't been there, the bloke would have flattened me like a bloomin' pancake in seconds. At the time in question, the alarm was raised at the local police station via secret cable from the pawnbroker. There was a button under the counter used to activate it, which was presumably pressed by the victim. That's right, when the brothers fled the scene and back out of the street, they ran straight into the arriving police, didn't they? Poor Mr. Windybank. He did everything he could to protect his shop.
Hold it!
Were you intending to shoot Mr. Windybank? No, never. I was just, looking out for me, bro, weren't I? He was being flayed, don't forget. By a man whose shop was being burgled. Yes. And then, the man fled into the storm and he pointed a gun at him. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. He shoved me away and then ran off through the door and shut himself in. Something about that last remark. Something that doesn't quite ring true. Wonder why Mr. Windybank ran away into the storeroom. What? Well, according to what everyone's saying, Ginny was in there waiting for him with a gun. Ah, yes, that's right. Gina allegedly used Mr. Windybank's gun to threaten him and force him to open the storeroom door. In which case, how did the gun end up in Mr. Windybank's hand again? I have no idea. That is strange, isn't it? This little inconsistency could be significant. I should make a mental note of it. Look, the point is me and Bro here. That's right, Nash. That's right. Me and Bro here.
Hold it!
You say you had nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. Nothing, Gov, nothing. The old geezer went and shut himself in the back room, didn't he? Locked it was, from the inside. We know it was because we tried to open it. But it's a decent door, that one. Good and strong, wouldn't budge an inch. So in the end, the situation remains unchanged. Inside the storeroom with the pawnbroker, there's only one other person. The sole person who could possibly have shot the victim, the accused, Mr. Yawning Viper, Miss Gina Lestrade. It would indeed appear so. What say you to that, Counsel? I don't know. Was there anyone else apart from Gina who could possibly have shot Mr. Windybank? Like, I want to... There has to be. There has to be, because otherwise we go... Nope, she's guilty, and that's not the answer. So there has to be someone else. I mean, easily could be these two. Mr. and Mr. Sulkin. Yeah? What? What's that look for? From the moment you admitted that you'd encountered the victim face to face that night, the course of this trial changed completely. It did. What is your point, my learned friend? The question we must answer is, who could have shot Mr. Windybank? And it is the belief of the defense the defendant is not the only possible answer at all. You have my attention. In that case, let us return to this plan of the premises. The victim was killed in the storeroom. It was locked from the inside. Those are the facts. So pray, what other possible answer to the question of who shot the man could there be? Counsel, you must now provide answers to the court in respect of 2 conundrums. 2, my lord. Twice as many chances to be right, maybe? We all know that's false. Indeed, namely, from what location did the culprit shoot the victim? And furthermore, where was the victim at the time? Understood, my lord. You all right, Runo? Not entirely sure, but there's one thing I'm sure about. If I can prove that there's a credible new alternative to what happened, it would change Gina's prospects hugely. Or there has to be. So now, time for some clarity. Show the court on this plan the answers to the questions posed by his lordship. If you believe someone else could have killed the victim, indicate from where that person could have fired the gun. I mean, he was definitely shot from below, and we have a very, very short man on the stands who we know had gotten thrown over the counter. So, we knew he got thrown over here. I want to say, my thought process is generally, he got thrown over the counter. We know the taller brother had the gun at the time. I mean, they each could have had a gun. Only one was recovered. Honestly, the other problem being, he was shot with his own gun, right? Single discharge. Gently rising diagonal trajectory. It doesn't say in the descriptions which gun did which, but each has only been fired one time. So even if they somehow swapped guns, unlikely, but... If this is the gun that shot Windybanks, that would mean that this would have to be the gun that shot Sholmes, which clearly isn't the case. I already know I'm gonna get this wrong. My gut tells me, small guy over here, him trying to go into this door, gets shot in the back here, falls down, and the door either closes on its own or they close the door and go, nope, bye. That's what my gut says, but I'm second guessing that. There's also the possibility, I don't remember how high up, oh, hold on, we can check that. Presumably. The slit in the door for the view hole isn't low down. They'd have to reach their hand in and aim it this way. That seems unlikely. I'm probably going to be wrong. I'm going to save in the inevitability that I'm wrong. But I'm going to go with my gut instinct. That's just how we do these. If it's wrong, cool, we figure it out. But like, gut instinct.
Take that!
The defense believes that the culprit could have shot the victim from this location here. And in answer to the second question, Assuming the culprit fired from the location indicated, where was the victim at the time? I want to say very close to that door, if not in the doorway. Like, he wasn't through it. I'm going to say
Take
there.
that!
The defense believes the victim would have been in this position.
Objection!
I definitely got this wrong, yeah. What your answers in fact show, yeah. Is that your own position is as absurd as those you have indicated in the plan. What are you saying? Yeah, that's wrong. Okay. I knew it. It's twice as many chances to be wrong. Yeah, I knew it too. So the questions are, from where did the culprit shoot the victim and where was the victim at the time? Well, I don't see why we can't show that someone other than Ginny could have done it in the storeroom, do you? Yes, that's the right way of looking at it, I suppose. Someone other than Gina in the storeroom. What's the best move here? Should I try again or gather more information first? How would we gather more info? See about gathering more info. My lord, I would like to consider this situation a little more before giving my answers again. Consider this situation as much as you like. The answers do not exist. Very well. The court will hear from the witnesses again while you deliberate counsel. So it's just going to be the same stuff. That's all these brothers are willing to reveal this time, is it? Still hiding something, don't you think? Yes, I'm sure of it. Not just a minor detail. Almost certainly because these two, the poor Mr. Windybank, well, can't let them get away with it, Bruno. I know, but I get the feeling there's even less evidence at my disposal this time to prove that they did it. I've come so far. Now it's time to finish them off. Well, I'll do my best. Checked over the counter. Pulled my gun on him. Then he legged it through the door into the back room. That was the weird one, right? I wasn't gonna shoot him, yeah, of course not. Bro. The man fled into the storm when you pointed your gun at him. Is that it? So now we gotta redo the thing. How do I go back to... Whoops. I'm just gonna load the file just to go back there. We haven't... I don't think anything's changed. I mean...
Take that!
You could have a situation like this. Honestly, he could even have been outside. I'm gonna go with that. Snuck into the room, guy was outside, moved him in here, closed the door.
Take that!
Probably wrong. I'm probably overthinking it. They were probably both in the room. Yep. Cool. So I lost the same blip I lost last time, and now we're on equal footing. I don't think more info is going to help us. Unless I missed a detail, which, let's be honest, probably. I'm going to try both inside the room.
Take that!
That's not it, then.
Take that!
Running out of ideas.
Objection!
Crap. The only other answer I have at least choose a place that's outside the storeroom, don't you? I mean, if you're saying that someone shot Mr. Windybank from inside the storeroom, we'll just say it was Ginny. Yeah, I guess. What's the best move here? I did pick a place outside the storeroom. Okay, we'll go with...
Take that!
here, and right inside the door. Assuming he ran through, the door was open, and it closed behind him.
Take that!
Ah! Wow. Cobra shot the victim from outside the storeroom. Could have led with that. It was the same idea I had originally, just putting the victim where their body was found, instead of putting it outside the door and assuming they would have, like, stumbled forward or something. I was close the first time, I think, but I get it. I was also wrong. Close is not right. The culprit shot the victim from outside the storeroom. Continue. Mr. Windybank died instantly from a bullet wound in his back. Looking at the stain of blood on the storeroom floor, it doesn't appear that the body was moved after death. It tells us that he was almost certainly shot while he was in the storeroom. However, the crucial point is, where was the shooter when the fatal bullet was fired? So you are adamant that the shot was fired from outside the storeroom. Well, according to the Sulkin brothers' earlier testimony... Also, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Sorry, we have to shuffle some papers a little bit. If Mr. Windybank ran away through the door, we have to assume that the door was open at the time. It was at precisely that moment when the victim was fleeing for his life that these brothers had the perfect opportunity to shoot the man in the back once he was inside the storeroom. No! Yeah. Come to think of it, do you remember what the prosecutor said at the start of the trial? Oh, I haven't had a plan. Poor man, shot while he was running as fast as he could to safety. Ah, of course! He would have been leaning forward as he was running away. So even if the bullet was fired horizontally, it would still have entered his body in an upward trajectory. So the culprit isn't necessarily someone shorter than Mr. Windybank.
Objection!
I'm sure my learned friend can't have forgotten that the storeroom door was found closed and locked from the inside. You claim the victim was shot as he fled into the room. Do you also claim his corpse was dexterous enough to turn the key in the lock? But... what if someone else locked the door? Yes, there's someone else who could have locked the storeroom door. Is that so? It's only one person. Well then, counsel, present your hypothesis to the court. In the scenario just described, the defense's assertion is that the victim was shot from outside the storeroom. In which case, who shut and locked the storeroom door from the inside? Somebody else who was in there was like, oh, they got a gun and they fire and let's not let them in.
Take that!
Obviously, the person who locked the door was the only other person inside the storeroom at the time. The defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Objection!
That's absurd. You're suggesting that the accused deliberately engineered the sealed room. For what possible reason? Such actions would only serve to tighten the noose around her neck. I'm inclined to agree, I must say. Well, counsel? Ah, yes. That's a tricky one, that, isn't it? Half-baked notions have no place in my courtroom, counsel. Remember that, please. But of course Ginny would have locked the door. It almost goes without saying, doesn't it? Excuse me, it does? Well, if I was Ginny in that situation, I know I would have locked the door as quickly as I could. I mean, those two burglars had just fired a gun in her direction, hadn't they? Oh yes, obviously. Before the two brothers arrived, Miss Lestrade and Mr. Windybank were in the storeroom together. Now, we don't know what went on between them at that time, but at some point, Mr. Windybank must have heard the intruders breaking into his shop and left the storeroom. Intruders, eh? That's us, bruv. If your theory is correct, that would leave the accused alone in the storeroom. Yes, it would. Then, probably only moments later, the victim fled back through the storeroom door, hoping to escape danger. Hit in the back by the bullet, Mr. Windybank fell to the floor where he was, just inside the storeroom. And what we have to ask ourselves now is, what would the defendant have done in that moment? I see where you're going with this. Outside the storeroom was a terrifying killer who had just murdered Mr. Windybank. As soon as that thought struck Miss Lestrade, she slammed the door shut and locked it, in order to save her own life.
Hold it!
But I mean, we ain't the ones who done it. We ain't, Gov. We ain't. You gotta believe us. I mean, come on. We'd never shoot anyone. Yeah, you'd never shoot anyone. Except for Sholmes.
Protection!
You literally shot someone! That's blatantly untrue. I know for a fact that you would. Because before my own eyes, you shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes. There's only one logical conclusion here. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you brothers had every opportunity to have been the true perpetrators of Mr. Windybank's murder. Yeah. I want to see him fall off the box. Where does this leave us? You mean to say it wasn't the pickpocket who shot the pawnbroker after all? I should have known it was these three brothers who look as shady as a dense forest. That was amazing, Bruno. All the members of the jury seem to be firmly on your side now. No, first time ever, and probably the last. Well, I think you've done it. Surely they'll have to give a verdict if not. Oh, crap. An admirable effort, my learned friend. What's this now? He's laughing. I find the situation amusing, Lord Van Zieks. I myself find the defense's arguments most persuasive. Who keeps handing this man glasses? I dare say. Such chicanery is the bread and butter of the street performers in your provincial eastern nation. But such blatant malicious conjuring tricks amount to nothing more than inexcusable pettifoggery here. What? The hypothesis you put forward so ostensibly, credibly cannot and will not stand. Because, you see, it contains a fatal flaw. A fatal flaw? Do you mean to tell me that you're unaware of your logic's failing? He's going to point out, how did the gun end up inside? I say, Lord Van Zieks, might be an idea to explain that bally conjuring trick or whatever it is, to the troops on the ground. The fatal flaw in my learned friend's argument is really very simple to understand. Assuming you're not too dim-witted to count bullets. By George, count bullets! Oh dear. You notice then? Huh? What's everyone talking about? Counsel. Yes, sir. Tell the court how many bullets were found at the scene of the crime. Two bullets. Correct. The first, that which hit the victim in the back ending his life. And the second, that which struck the detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, on his arrival to the scene. The line of counter. Yup, it's just more of them tossed forever. Indeed. The defense presented a picture showing the damage caused by the second bullet earlier in the proceedings. The bullet which injured Mr. Sholmes appears to have passed through his body to strike the calendar. We don't know that for sure, but your lordship's understanding is correct. We're gonna... Sholmes has to show up so we can test his blood and show that it's not green. That's the only way this can proceed now. Furthermore, we know that there are 2 firearms involved in the incident. The revolver belonging to the victim, Mr. Windybank, and the Skulkin Brothers revolver. This evidence shows that a single bullet was fired from each gun. Yes, indeed it does. Single bullet from each. Now then, my learned friend. You yourself told the court only moments ago that these 2 brothers shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes right before your eyes. Yes, I did. Oh my goodness, I think you'll find...
And if the single bullet that was fired from the brother's gun hit Mr. Sholmes, it means...
Windybank, now shot by same gun. Stop. Only 1 bullet. Stop. Exactly. Yes, this Nibonese street performer presented an ostensibly credible argument. However, it was never anything more than a diversionary trick with no hope of standing up to scrutiny. And it's dead again. Order! 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 That and the boot, I think, are my favorites of his. Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging the dregs of this hollowed nectar into the public gallery. Lord Van Zeeks! But this court needs to open its eyes. The accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, is no ordinary little girl. Despite her young years, she can, regrettably, no longer be described as a juvenile. No, the person in the dock is far from a law-abiding citizen. She has a past riddled with criminal conduct. The truth is, the accused broke into the pawnbrokery on the night in question. Damn it. With loathsome intent. Excuse me again. Jeez. As we can see, beyond doubt in this print which depicts her threatening the victim with the murder weapon. And I have here, in my possession, one more piece of evidence the prosecution wishes to present. The disc! Yeah. No, it's mad. So, again, has been here, there. Yes, that music box disc. Gilded's music box disc. Very day before the hateful murder of Mr. Windybank, the accused attempted to make off with this article, which clearly doesn't belong to her. Yeah, thieves happen. Nobody's on trial here for thievery, though. And if they were, we have 2 people who have definitely shot somebody, at least 1 person, and have thieved. So also, calm your tits, man. With none of the subtlety of a pickpocket, I might add, but by brute force and brazen impudence. Good gracious! Make no mistake, any sympathy for the accused on account of her years is misguided and dangerous. There are no depths to which this girl would not stoop if pushed, no crime she would not commit. Dude, you're called the Reaper of the Bailey, and you have threatened to end 2 lives in this courtroom since this trial started. No? Nothing? Okay. The court forgets that fact at its peril. I see. I think it would be prudent to take this music box disc into evidence counsel, as a grim testament to the defendant's... Lord Van Zeeks, Inspector Gregson? What? Yes, Inspector. We had a meeting yesterday at the yard of the prosecution service, and, I think it was agreed that the disc wouldn't be used as evidence. What's this all about? Why is the inspector acting strangely? That's the first time he said anything to Van Zieks at all. I am unaware of any such meeting. But those were the instructions, right from the top. The government bigwigs were insistent. Inspector, I am the prosecutor, and I alone determine how to present my case. Your warning is noted. Thank you. The prosecution wishes to proceed with submitting this disc as evidence, my lord. Indeed. Bailiff, music box disc has been entered into the court record. So that's gotta be freaking important. The prosecution has established the accused's motive, opportunity, and baseness of character. Oh, screw you. Let's look at that disc. Can we test the blood? That would be really nice. Oh, Bruno, look! This is blood! Yes, you're right. Just a small smear, but definitely blood. Actually, feels though I might have noticed that before. Ha! Then it's my time to shine again! Thought I'd be waiting forever! Alright, hold still with the disc, Bruno. Can we get this done quickly, Iris? In a flash! Yeah, it had to be. Okay. Oh, a lovely bright shade again. Wait, that color? What is it? It's just that green. It's not the first time we've seen that color, is it? Blood samples portfolio has been updated in the court record. From a gilded. That's the man you defended in court a couple of months ago, isn't it, Runa? Yes, or rather, mistakenly defended. Wonder what his name is doing on the back of this disc. It's a question I'd love to know the answer to myself. Alright, so yeah. Now we have proof that that blood is not Sholmes's. But how did it get there? Smattered across this. I don't remember when the blood got on this one. Hold on, if we check that again. Maybe they prompt a reminder. I don't remember. I think it was found that way. So this is blood, probably from somebody's fingertip. Well deduced, but not just somebody's fingertip. Mr. Benedict's fingertip. Oh. The case deepens. The man dressed in all white. Yes, it happened that afternoon in Windybanks. Gina tried to snatch this disc out of the man's hands, and the sharp little bumps cut his thumb. It did. So the lesson is, if somebody tries to grab a music box disc from you, let go quickly. The lesson is, don't snatch things, surely? Okay. I don't know when we're going to have a chance to show that, but now we have something. There's nothing more to add. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I await your informed decisions and rest my case. And I blow my nose. And on top of that, have a sip of tea. While they murmur. I don't believe it. I had the jury on my side for once. For all of 5 minutes. No, dear. It wasn't even for 5 minutes, Bruno. My lord! Wonder if I might say something at this point. Proceed, Mr. Foreman. Been stumbling about in a bit of a fog up to now, truth be told, but all of a sudden, the answer's probably obvious to me and in my men. There's only one thing for it. Oh, no. Well, very well. The court will hear from the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, you will present your leanings as to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Guilty.
I am shocked.
Guilty.
Utterly
Guilty.
bamboozled.
Guilty.
Well. We have a consensus among the jury, it seems. Yeah. You have eliminated the impossible. Whatever remains must be the truth. That's my line. I wrote that for Hurley. How dare you use it against us? Don't worry, Iris. I don't think we're finished yet. There's still more to this case than we realize. There must be, because there's one thing that I'm absolutely certain of. Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windybank. That's beyond any doubt. Very well. We will proceed with the second summation examination of the day. Mr. Foreman, are you and the other jurors ready? Garib Squadron is primed and ready for action, sir. Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have now determined the defendant to be guilty. Alright. Second attempt. Let's go. Once a rogue, always a rogue, I say. Different breed to us law-abiding citizens. Wow. So much of this just comes down to, she was a thief. Why wouldn't she murder somebody? You know, thanks. As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted. You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was that pickpocket.
I never imagined a simple operation would cause me such grief.
The accused attempted a theft on the previous day. I can see I'm in for a busy day ahead. I am ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about guns. Oh. That might be helpful. It seemed there was little remaining room for doubt. I have to admit, I was rather bowled over by the argument put forward by the chap in black. But when that fell apart like a house of cards, I saw that I'd jolly well been hoodwinked. Well, no more. The whole courtroom is turning against me. It's not fair. Iris? That prosecutor's being mean. Just because Ginny's done something she shouldn't have done in the past, that doesn't make her a murderer. Agreed. But unfortunately, no one else does. Allow me to savor this fruity vintage while I savor the spectacle of your fruitless debate on the matter. Here's to the truth coming out. Eventually. It's enough preamble. Counsel, proceed with the summation examination. We got it. Yes, my lord. Defense's rebuttal. Well, let's start working on him. Just because Miss Lestrade has a history of pickpocketing, she must be guilty of murder. Is that what you're saying? Ah, well. Are all members of the British Army so quick to judge? I beg your pardon. Are you mocking Her Majesty's Armed Forces? Excuse me, the greatest military organization in the world? No, I'm simply illustrating my point. Making assumptions about people because they're a soldier or a pickpocket is wrong and dangerous. Well, yes, might have a point there, I suppose. But let's not forget the girl has already shown she had it in her from before. She's clearly a criminal sort through and through. Can't deny it. You said that she's shown she had it in her. You're referring to this? Exactly. Tried to swipe that only a day earlier, huh? Or am I mistaken? Not exactly. Given that I was actually there at the time, it's hard to refute that. Never actually seen the real thing. Can't wait to have a closer look at it. Oh yes, of course. Mr. Sholmes, sorry for the flashback voice. Mr. Sholmes did use his caramel bars to make a copy of the disc, didn't he? And then ordered every type of music box he could find from across Europe. We still don't know what tune it plays though, do we? But I'd love to see how the original compares to Hurley's copy. The Gilded's disc. Could it be a clue somehow? Perhaps we should examine it in more detail. Nah, definitely not.
Hold it!
It's the number of bullets that has you convinced. Only 2 bullets were fired, and the 2 guns that fired them have been examined by the police. When the parlor maids ask me how many are invited for dinner, I always tell her to count the table settings. Well, it's logical, I suppose. Although, yes? Sometimes after dining, crockery does go missing. 1 or 2 guests rather like the fine china. Does your employer dine with thieves? So I suppose, if there was another bullet somewhere of which we were unaware, I'd have to reconsider my position. A 3rd bullet somewhere in the scene. Could that be possible? I mean, third bullet could have been in him, but I don't know if we can prove it. We know he was shot. We know he was shot. We know he was shot. 3 people who have been shot. I don't know if we can prove it right now. I mean, I'm going to save, because I think the proving it is with the bloodstain we have. If we prove somebody else was shot by that bullet, then there must be a third with Holmes. Sholmes. 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 Allow me to show you then. The third bullet. I don't know if this is going to work. That's why we saved. I do not think this works. Well, tell you
Take
how.
that!
I don't suppose this would pass as good going. Good going. I don't know if there's another way to show it. We can present. No, and we can't present a person here. There's no way we can do it right now. Unless we try to show the disc, which is not going to work. Yeah, cool. No, don't copyright me. I said Sholmes. You all heard it. You all heard Sholmes. I would never, ever... It was Sholmes. It was all Sholmes all the way down. It's impossible right now. Fortunately... Only 2 bullets were discovered by the police during their investigation. Yes, I know. Right. I don't imagine the good man of Scotland Yard would have overlooked anything. I missed a bullet while I was cleaning his lordship's office. Well, I should receive a sound scolding, I don't doubt. And he should receive a visit from the police, perhaps. Sounds like a crime scene to me. A third bullet. Would completely turn things around if there was one, wouldn't it? Do you think we might find one lying around somewhere? Where would we find a third bullet? Like, we have... That's the only new piece of evidence. And we have the bloodstain from it, which is great, and that is great evidence, but I don't think that's evidence towards a bullet. This is one in here. Can we open it? Oh, look at that. It's totally changed shape. Just from one little button press. Well, that's what the button's for, Bruno. You're just like Early. You boys love pressing buttons, don't you? Especially if you don't know what they do. Us boys, says the 10-year-old girl. Anyway, now you can see that it really is a stereoscope, can't you? No bullet in the stereoscope. Alas, that plan didn't work out. I don't think there's a bullet hole in those. It wouldn't add up anyway. I mean, that's shattered. But whatever. It's not that. It was blood this time, like we suspected. That's right. Ellie's wonderful concoction soon proved that. I don't suppose Gina couldn't have been wearing leather gloves that night, could she? Gina would never wear gloves. She's a pickpocket. She relies on being able to feel with her fingertips. could be wrong, but I think I'm being told off. Sweet, okay. I think we've seen everything we can out of this one. Student appears to have used back to this photograph, trying to have a redemption ticket. It's written very neatly, but still, perhaps he ran out of paper? So I use anything he had on hand? It's hard to know what's the front and what's the reverse side now. That's it. I doubt those are going to come up. Okay, we'll continue on with them. We can come back.
Hold it!
So if I've understood correctly, you need two pictures, a left eye one and a slightly different right eye one. Exactly. Then you can see the scene in 3 dimensions. Like this. So, if we have 2 bullets, I don't suppose you can see anything useful with them. I think you'll find that no matter how much you squint, the truth of the situation always looks the same here. The only person who could have shot the victim is that girl in the dock. How can you be so sure of that? Think about it. The Skulkin brothers shot the great detective, didn't they? Yes, it's been mentioned once or twice. Well then, surely it's coming to focus now, isn't it? It's a waste of time. I'm not going to change this man's mind anytime soon. Alright, so not him. Poor Doc, still screwing stuff up. Would you please stop muttering about things that have nothing to do with this trial, sir? The defendant's life is on the line here.
Well, the thing is, I couldn't really say that it's nothing to do with this trial, to be honest.
Huh?
I mean, there's no question that the man was shot, but the bullet had simply vanished from his stomach. It's quite inexplicable, don't you think?
Oh. I almost don't want to ask, but this surgery you've been muttering on about all this time, you were operating on...
What was the fellow's name now? Herlich? No. Herlock?
Did you leave a frickin' scalpel inside Herlock?
No, Herlock?
Herlock Sholmes, by any chance?
Yes, good lord. It was that Herlock fellow.
What? You're the surgeon that operated on Mr. Sholmes.
That's right. Using the very latest anesthesia techniques, I might add. It was a fairly major op, I can tell you.
This is crazy.
Let me see. The fellow was brought in not long after midnight, if I remember correctly. He said he'd been shot by some criminal or other, so I opened him up like a shot. But the funny thing is, I went over his insides with a fine-tooth comb and couldn't find the bullet anywhere. So I'm afraid I had to throw up my hands and just stitch the fellow back up.
I hate to state the obvious, but...
Yes?
Surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting. Counsel for the defense is correct, as is clearly shown in this photographic print. The bullet that the Skulkin brothers fired at Mr. Sholmes hit him in the stomach region. Oh, the doctor's gonna be like, there's no exit wound, though. Then exited his body and lodged into the shop wall where the calendar was hanging by the door. I think you'll find it's really quite simple if you just consider the problem 3-dimensionally.
Ah, who do you think I am, son?
Well, juror number 4 is about the best I can do.
As soon as I saw the wound to the man's stomach, I flipped him over.
Like a pancake? Are you saying that you checked his back?
Of course I did, and there wasn't a trace of injury. No sign that the bullet had left the body at all.
What?
That's the point. The only logical conclusion was that the bullet was still somewhere in the man's innards, which is exactly why I said about slicing him up. I'm still none the wiser even now. How many times do I have to say it? Can somebody please explain how it happened? Can somebody please solve the mystery?
It's almost as much of a mystery as how this jury was put together. So nobody's gonna put together the fact that if there was no exit wound, then it's definitely not his. did hit, like, if it didn't exit... I don't know. I have no idea where your bullet ended up. We now have our third bullet, but we need to finish that one?
Hold it!
What do you mean, you're in for a busy day? Forgot to say, stop. Do excuse me, stop. I am a communications officer, stop. Communications officer? Does that have something to do with sending telegrams? No! Everything from personal messages written by members of the public to the latest news in the capital. Convert all the messages into Morse code and tap it out to the entire world electronically. To the entire world? Thousands of miles of cable into the sea, stop! Worldwide communications network, stop! Ooh. Ooh, well that's tempting. Information transmitted to and from all corners of the globe, stop! Ah yes. She was getting equally worked up about radio waves of the like before, wasn't she? Hell yeah, then, I mean, you know what you gotta do. I specialize in communicating information from government departments and newspaper offices. I see. I'm sure I shall have to wire the newspaper reports of today's guilty verdict later. So no sleep for me tonight, I imagine. Let's just finish the trial first, shall we? And last but not least, ballistics expert. I thought you were just a tourist. Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please. There's no way he's just visiting tourist. So, you're a ballistics expert. Who knew? I have much experience with guns. Ah. I have lived through many, how do you say, extreme, violent, bath of, no, blood of, extreme violent bloodbaths, perhaps. Ah, those, extreme violent bloodbaths. English is very difficult tongue. Considering the sort of people you associate with, I'm surprised you still have a tongue. Anyway, if you have questions about bullets and guns, you ask me. There is nothing I do not know, no mystery I cannot solve. He's very confident in his knowledge of guns, that's for sure. But, if possible, please, only in Russian language. He's not very confident in his knowledge of English, though, is he? No, still, we should bear it in mind. He's a man if there's a mystery about guns or bullets. Well, we do have a mystery about bullets, and Zeus has managed to convince everyone. We have eliminated the impossible, he said, but he hasn't. If we're going to fight back, we need more material. And we have to fight back. We have to turn this trial around again. Alright. I hate to keep saving, but we only have one blip left, so we have to keep saving. I'm pretty sure what my first step is. I don't know what my second step is going to be, but we're going to let it go from there. We are going to do... Doctor. And ballistics. These two statements clearly... No, they don't. I was hoping he'd help him on the... Oh, okay. It was right. Clearly contradict the idea that all I do is pit jurors against each other. Yeah, we're having them help each other. I thought it was a loss.
Oh, a ballistics expert.
Pitting. Pit. On the night in question, Mr. Sholmes was shot by one of the Sulkin brothers. But since there was no sign of an exit wound in his back, we must assume the bullet didn't pass through him. However, no bullet was found lodged in Mr. Sholmes' body either. Furthermore, a bullet was found lodged in the wall of the shop where Mr. Sholmes was shot. Juror number 6. Hello, my name is Wieland. Pleased to meet you. This apparent contradiction of the facts that is so clearly troubling juror number 4. Are you able to explain the mystery? I have seen very similar situation in Motherland. It was night. There was blizzard. I was running away along mountain road in freezing cold. Golly. The snow was piling high on both sides of road. It was very narrow and dangerous. My pursuer had hunting rifles, and they were on dog sleds. Mental note, don't ask too many questions. I was shot from behind, and I fell down in snow. And the situation was very similar to what I hear today from Doctor. They could not find bullet in me body, and no sign of Now do you say exit wound? Then where did the bullet go? Bullet never hit me.
Well, if it never hit you, why did you fall down?
Bullet hit a frozen wall of ice very close to me. Oh, it's the lamp. Wait, he would have found glass in it though. Bullet hit frozen wall of ice very close to my side. What? One small piece, very sharp, broke away from lump of ice and pierced my body. A deep wound that looks just like bullet wound.
Good gracious.
Of course, piece of ice quickly melted inside me, and that is solution to mystery of disappearing bullet.
But that doesn't answer the question at all.
Hmm.
The shooting happened in a pawnbroker shop, not some snowy mountain road in another country.
Just an idea, but we might not be looking at exactly the same scenario here. Oh no. Where exactly was Hurley shot again? Well, according to the report, in his stomach. Sort of around this area, I think. Well, that's precisely where he always wears a little pouch on his belt. Pouch? Actually, I might have noticed something like that. Yes, a pouch. That's where he keeps 3 glass vials of very dangerous chemicals that he uses in his investigations. What? Really? Doctor, where's the pouch Mr. Sholmes was wearing?
Well, the fellow had nothing like that on his person when he arrived at the hospital, as far as I remember.
If I may. Lord Van Zeeks, while I realize it is forbidden for the prosecution to interject during a summation examination, I should inform the defense that I have the pouch in question in the antechamber outside the courtroom. Sorry? As I understand it, when the police arrived on the scene and found Mr. Sholmes injured, they removed the pouch in order to assess the wound.
Ah, thank goodness. Thought I was getting forgetful for a moment.
Since then, it has been in my safekeeping along with all other evidence related to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact that it has not been touched since the incident occurred. Very well. Well, extremely unconventional during a summation examination. I must demand the prosecution presents the item in question with all speed. Bring forth Mr. Herlock Sholmes' pouch. I see. So this is the pouch worn by Mr. Sholmes on the night in question, is it? Look at that. One of the files is broken, and the leather around it is scorched black. It's almost as if the file exploded. Exploded. So, that night, the bullet from the Skulkin brothers' gun struck Mr. Sholmes' pouch.
And it was the glass vial exploding that caused the fellow's injury.
This bullet did not penetrate victim, but was deflected into wall of shop. Also know, though, delightfully complex aroma. Well, it would appear one mystery is solved at least. Though it has no bearing on the truth of this case. The bungling and burgling brothers shot the detective and the accused shot the pawnbroker. The pertinent facts of the case remain unaltered.
But at least the mystery's solved. I can sleep easy tonight. Thank you, young man.
Thank you very much. Glad I could help. Due to its bearing in the conundrum just solved, the court will sequester this scruffy pouch as evidence. Hurley's pouch isn't scruffy! Sholmes' pouch has been entered into the court record. Well, that's going to be important. Like, right now. Because of that. This file has been smashed to pieces. Presumably, this is where the bullet struck. I can see the bullet! As soon as the bullet hit the chemical in that file, a really big explosion. Big explosion. Well, Hurley's potions and chemicals are amazingly useful for the investigation work it does. They're also quite tricky to handle, safely at least. They're very dangerous. Oh, sure that when this file broke, the chemical inside would have ignited. Note to self, always walk on the right-hand side of Sholmes in the future. The left is the danger side. Nope, not back. Forward. Oh look, there's a hole here at the back. Doesn't look much like a bullet hole, but clearly something's ripped through the leather with great force. Something must have pierced it somehow and left this hole behind it. Yes, looks that way. Mr. Sholmes and his pouch both took a beating, didn't they? Let me select the bullet. There's a bullet! Oh, no! It really scorched badly here. Oh, the strap is broken. Look! This must be where the bullet hit them. Let me see. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, Bob. What the? Iris, look! Behind where the broken file was. Do you see it? Ah, that's the Sulkin Brothers' bullet! What a stroke of luck that it hit his pouch. This is an amazing discovery. This means is there were 3 bullets fired at Windy Banks that night. I found exactly what the juror was talking about. The 3rd bullet. It's time to press that juror again, I think. The 3rd bullet has been entered into the court record. Cool. We found the 3rd bullet. Hell yeah. Submission examination. It would appear the defense is somewhat struggling to alter opinion. No. Please. My lord. A little more time. After all, it's a new piece of evidence. It could be a valuable clue. You can't afford to overlook anything here, Arena. There's still a way to turn this around. Somehow. I'm sure of it.
Hold it!
Alright. So, if there was a 3rd bullet, you'd have to change your mind. I can prove it. The 3rd bullet! I should examine it too, but... Here it is. We discovered it just now. Yes, on the night in question at Windy Bank's pawnbrokery, another bullet was fired. What is this new trickery, you Lebanese conjurer? Where did you find that bullet? It was lodged inside Mr. Sholmes' pouch. What? This pouch was removed from around Mr. Sholmes' waist before he was taken to the hospital. And since then, it has been touched by no one. Do you mean to say the shot fired by the Sulkin brothers that night? Yes, as your lordship has surmised, it hit this pouch. But that makes no sense whatsoever. We already know the whereabouts of the bullet fired at Mr. Sholmes. It's clearly visible in this photographic print. Ah! 2 guns from the scene have already been submitted into the court record as evidence. Yes, that of Mr. Windybank, and that belonging to the Sulkin brothers. Excuse me. An examination of both guns revealed that only a single bullet had been fired from each. Oh. But that must mean... That's right. We now know that on the night in question, 3 bullets were fired. However, only 2 bullets were fired from the guns recovered from the crime scene, and until that incontrovertible inconsistency is somehow explained, we cannot and must not pass judgment. Ugh. Oh, that's good. That's a good reaction. Order, order, order! While this summation examination remains incomplete, the court has been presented with new facts. Facts that would appear to shake the very foundations upon which the case against the defendant has been built. As is my prerogative in this situation, I hereby temporarily suspend the summation examination. By Jupiter! No, you're more of a moon shape, actually. What? Bailiff, bring the witnesses back to the stand at once. So is this to be continued? No. I think I'm going to leave here, though. Because as soon as we start going forward, it's going to be... We just got the new info. The new info is clearly that bullet. In a week's time, I won't forget what we're doing. I think this is the point to save at. We've just had a truth bomb dropped. We're still very, very low on HP, but whatever. It's fine. I think here is logical. It's possible that if we pushed forward, we'd hit another, like, to be continued in time, because the first one took about 2 hours, so this one could take about 2 hours. But I need to wake up early for work tomorrow, so now is the more better. Now is the preferred time for me. Mind you, I don't have to wake up for work early tomorrow. I am a big fan of McDonald's breakfast sandwiches. I don't wake up early for work very often. I tend to, since I work from home, wake up, roll out of bed, make tea, start work. may have heard through the grapevine that those McDonald's sandwiches are buy one, get one. So I'm going to wake up extra early for work, bike over to McDonald's, and feed my own craving. It's my own damn fault. But it does mean I shouldn't go late tonight. So, this works for me. And we're making good progress. Finally, nothing happened on a Sunday that stopped me from playing this. I swear, I enjoy this game a lot. Sunday is just... I love sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles. It is my favorite thing at McDonald's, but I'm not up early. On the weekends, I sleep in. On weekdays, I wake up just in time for work. I have my schedule planned out, but it's supposed to be nice weather tomorrow. They've got the sale on them because they've gotten a bit expensive, but buy one, get one is a lot better. I really just want to go. I'm doing it for me. So, yeah, that's 100% what I'm doing. I'll probably get a hash brown with it, too. We'll see. Those are a little pricey these days, I believe. But, you know, whatever. We got ourselves a monster, a cool, a disco. Still a great quote. And, of course... we have extra shoutouts tonight. Oh, that's the wrong page. We're looking for that page. There you go. We have big shoutouts to Ramen for gifting a 1 month sub to Viper is a Chicken, son. Still can't believe that's a real name. Still can't believe you found that out. I've been stuck on what is apparently one of the worst bosses on all trails and Nightmare, and I'm losing my mind. I am sorry. Wait. Have you passed me yet? Or are you still... Because, like... There was a very... The spear guy. Yeah, that... Yeah. That was a... Oh, I absolutely hope so too, Potts. Sending definite luck your way. That guy gave me a run on... Like, the fights are so early... But, like... They expect a lot from you those early games. I'm sorry that one's so bad on Nightmare. It was... tough on normal, but doable. Oh, yeah, no. Please look after yourself more than subscriptions. Please. Also means you'd probably get thrown in jail. Yeah. But please look after yourself first. Viper jail is way better than actual no money in real life. A lot better. We also have big shoutouts to Kai Xanthus, who tossed a raid over this way. Awesome person, awesome raid, very cool. I think I forgot to do a shout. Damn it. I don't know. I am so sorry. I meant to shout them out then. I was distracted because we were getting into the thick of things here. Please check out Kai Xanthus. They're awesome. Cool streamer. Hell yeah. Please check them out. And Sora had the getting to the last of the months of the ramen imprisonment. And yeah, and everyone in chat, hanging out, having a good time, hopefully enjoying Court Romantics. Yeah. Thank you all for tuning in, thank you all for watching. Oh, let's, hold on. I do have enough time to see if we can raid someone. I'm trying to be better about that these days. There's still plenty of days where there's nobody to raid, but, Oop, I muted that. I swear. I literally just muted that. Let me pop that back open. I closed it as a reflex when it echoed. I swear I hit mute. I swear I hit mute. Oh, Pox is going. They're playing Elden Ring. They've recently had their entire... Oh wait, hold on. Are they in DLC? I have to see... I think they're in DLC. Which means I'm not going to raid tonight. Oh no, they're not. They're at endgame base game. Cool. Gotcha. Okay. They're at very end of base game. So if you haven't finished Elden Ring, answer warning. Final boss Elden Ring spoilers. They recently had their entire save file wiped, lost to the ether, and they're rebuilding it. So, cool. Thank you all for tuning in, thank you all for watching. This has been Viper's Wipeland, and you know what? I keep typing it afterwards. I should set this as a macro soon. We got a raid message. I've been using this one. Copy the whole thing and macro it so I can do it easier next time. Raid message for those who want. There you go. Yeah. You sure? Sure do vibe with that one. But yeah, we're tossing the raid over that way. Another cool person, another cool streamer, and they're getting the raid. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for watching this Viperland. I need to go raid, get some food, and get to sleep. So I'll see you all next time.